is treated like a crime. Living honest in a world that forces you to toe the line. They twist the words, they sell the fear. They keep the masses blind. But deep inside the fire's growing, and it's burning through my mind. Purple flame is rising up, no more bending to their game. Anger turns into rebellion, and the rebellion calls my name. Sick of the poison, sick of the chains they wrap around our souls. We've carried this weight too long, now we're ready to let it go. We're coming to life, turning the tide in this crusade for truth. We're coming to life, Chuppies rise together, armed to the teeth with proof. They attack the pack, try to bury what is real, but they're in the vendor now, and they're gonna feel the steel. We're alive tonight. The sword of the word cuts through the dark, lies are being snuffed out. Truth rises up, no more hiding. Hear the righteous shout, alive, alive. God is on our side. They thought they could break us, but the hope inside is louder. We're alive, turning the tide in this crusade for truth. We're alive, exposing the lies that corrupt the youth. We're alive We turn the tide. We're alive. Truth survives.
What's up, everybody? It's a different day of the week. Welcome. Hello. I saw somebody. Hold on. Let me get my chats up. Juyu Kishi Parn. Did I say that right? Able to join us because of not having to be at work. Party in the house. There's some new emotes thanks to virtual. I tried to pop them right in before stream started, and what's it called? Twitch, of course, has to like do their own approval process, but it looks like I think all of them got through, so that's great. And we'll try to get the rest up on I think I could do some for like subs that are special. Hello, Ace of Spades, and I think we could do some for Kick, maybe Rumble Shoe. I don't know. I need to look at it. We'll get some animated ones. They'll all be good. What's cooking, Rogue Wolf? Today's Wolf by Demi, a weirdo with an ego. Oh, I did see those videos of her questionable stream bouncing antics, I'll say. Thank you for the head pat. Hello, Zaragachi. Hello, Van. Hope your stream goes well. I might have to switch to Kick Chat due to YouTube liking to shadow ban my chats whenever I mention sensitive topics. No Venmotes on Kick. Not yet. I have to add them. I ran out of time. That's all my points in one head pat. I'm watching at work. Priorities. I love that. Thank you for watching even when you're at work. Can you even on Kick? Can I even have emotes? I'm pretty sure I can add them. I have to look into it on like the back end, but I do think I can add emotes on Kick. I think I can also add like animated ones. I just need to do that. I might be able to add the stickers that Jack of Spades, Ace of Spades made in the Discord. I just need to download them and I think maybe change the format. I don't know. I tried one and it said it was a GIF, so I don't think it didn't like that on Twitch. Yeah, but yes, on the topic of shadow banning, we'll have to be careful. I want to cover the UK grooming gang stuff that has been coming out with the report. You are Eastern Orthodox. No, I would consider myself Protestant. I actually was raised Catholic. And like baptized like that and everything, and then was very much so never like actually taught about the faith, so I wasn't really like an actual believer, I guess, just like by familial association, but then kind of came to it later on myself, but would call myself a Protestant now. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff with I even want to call it like the other word because it's not even correct to call it like grooming gangs. I think that's like such a vanilla phrasing for what they were. But I'm afraid to say the grapes on here, so we'll have to use some other words, because like when you upload your video or like when I upload my live stream, then I have to like rate everything that I talked about, and like if it was like offensive or like violent or anything like that, and then it can not only can it get you like demonetized, but it can also like draw attention to your channel. Don't want to get strikes for talking about things outside community guidelines and all of that, so I'll just have to be particular with how we talk about it, but I think we could do it. Okay. I put in the title of this video how I went from Bernie to Based. So I think it was 4K Beard, I think is his name, on Rumble. He left me a comment asking like if I've ever like told the story, I guess, of how my political opinions have evolved. And so I was thinking about it and I was like, well, I feel like I've kind of just talked about it like over time on stream. But not really like laid out what radicalized me all at once, or like being able to then clip this into a video that people could refer to like learn a little bit more about me. Hold on, I'm missing chats. Just say curism. I know dang well YouTube will suppress most of what I want to say about the UK grooming gangs, given the statistics involved. Welcome, Quadico Lake Runner. I think I remember you. Hush politics is a decent term and it's subtle. They are chomos. Just be clear, YouTube supports chomos too. Wait, what does that mean? I don't think I get this reference. The Chomo gang, should we call them that? What was I gonna say? Anywho, I actually found something that kind of like reminded me of my own venture away from leftism. For the record, I was never like I think I've said this before, but like I was never like a feminist pride flag parade type lefty. Like I always was like, I think you guys are just being distracted from the economic and political issues, was like very much so my take at the time of where I was, voting on that side of things. And I was like, I really hated the Democratic establishment after Obama. And then I was like super into Bernie, super supportive of that, because Bernie wasn't the same Bernie that he is now. Like, he was pro-gun, he was good on immigration, and I thought he was actually going to like deal with the issues that I thought would make our society more fair without like the whole equity piece, but more so like, okay, let's like keep the game of capitalism fair. Even though I know he's a democratic socialist, I was kind of viewing it more as like, oh, we could be like a European country, you know, we could have good business, and also like we could have paid maternity leave. Are you Eastern Orthodox? No, I am not Eastern Orthodox. I've actually been learning more about it. I am Protestant. What was I gonna say? Bernie is a constipated, whiny old man. Boy, is it good Bernie didn't win though, because he turned out to be the wettest noodle ever to noodle. True. I really thought at the time, like, I never had TDS, but I thought that Bernie was the best one to run against Trump. I really didn't know what the Democratic Party thought that they were doing, running Hillary or anybody else, if they were so scared of Trump. But once again, wasn't in the TDS thing. Was very much so pro Bernie, anti Democratic establishment, and kind of just thought like there was just the two establishment parties and Bernie was like outside of that. Obviously, when faced with any challenge at all, he totally bent like a wet noodle, and I was full in on the leftist agenda, so obviously lost my support very quickly after that election. But basically what I'll say is was very like indoctrinated and brought up on the left that like the lefty, like with all the things we see today, that the lefties are moral and care about people and the right doesn't, and they're just rash and uneducated and, you know, just old people that have lost their way and just get indoctrinated by Fox News, which is just so fucking funny when you think about it. So that's why her hair is purple. Former Bernie bro. No, I didn't even have this character then. I actually just always loved purple. But I've never colored my hair a crazy color IRL, so really wasn't that far into the left compared to the people you see now on that side. Yeah, so was not that far in, but was definitely like pro. You know, I was like, I had like mixed feelings on diversity. I don't really care, to be honest. I was just like, well, I guess this is just like the way people think, so that's fine, whatever. I did buy into the whole like Black oppression thing. I used to listen to rap music more, and was like more into believing that, you know, on kind of like the conspiracy thinking, right? But like I thought that all of that was totally correct, that Black people were just being held down, wasn't aware of like difference in statistics and per capita, didn't understand any of that, thought it was very much so like those at the top that have power and are successful are bad, and those at the bottom that are poor are good, without any thinking about like the character that humans have, whether they're wealthy or whether they're poor. That poor people could be really shitty, and so can wealthy people, but that a lot of wealthy people also are super merited because, you know, they put in a lot of effort to make something of themselves. Even if they started with something, it takes effort to manage companies, a unique skill set and all that. So I have a very different perspective now, but was definitely like democratic socialist aligned. And then they cheated Bernie out of the election with Hillary, and I was like super pissed about that. I've said before, I wasn't a Trump like fan at that time, but I wasn't like a TDS patient either, and I almost, as a Democrat, quote unquote, because I think I had to register as a Democrat to vote in the Democratic primary, even though I was registered as an independent, but I remember like I had lots of extended family. There were not many people that agreed with me. I had lots of extended family that were freaking the fuck out about Trump. And I was so mad at having the same like arguments over and over again. And I thought they were just being so dumb about like, we need Hillary to defeat Trump and we can't have Bernie. And I was so personally offended by that I remember sitting in my living room being like, I'm just gonna vote for Trump so I can tell all the Democrats in my life that that's how I feel and I can make them really mad. Like I kind of wanted to troll them about that because I was just so upset at their outrage and thought they were being so retarded. I think I ended up not voting in that election, or maybe I wrote Bernie in, don't remember. I thought Trump was just like the same. I didn't really understand the difference between like the left and right elite political factions. Like I thought it was all the same. And while I do think a lot of elections are managed and like our choices are limited and all of that, I do think that there's a serious factional fight going on between elites, the likes of Trump and then the likes of the, Hillary sphere, basically. And I do think that has real effects on our lives. And so this is what I'm going to say next. So after living a little bit more and going through a couple of different experiences, I feel that I kind of opened my eyes up to like, wait a second, liberals weren't what they said they were, and also conservatives aren't how the liberals painted them to be. And also, a lot of the foundation for my liberal thinking turned out to not be true when I started questioning it, but more so when I started having like on the ground lived experience. So as a teacher, I've been like part of teacher unions and like experienced some of that from the inside. I've been inside teacher strikes where they like told the union members to shut up basically and to not ask, me being one of the union members, to not ask for other things, to not ask for reduced class sizes, just take what we're negotiating with the district and shut up and stop pushing for other things that will be good for teachers and students. I saw people like be very uncomfortable like with the process of negotiation at all, which made it clear to me that the unions were just like completely corrupted and in on everything. I also lived in some really crappy neighborhoods with lots of illegals there, impoverished and low character people as well. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is like not what I was taught growing up. We were taught like that this just brings culture and tacos, and that's not what I'm seeing right now. So lived in some places like that, and also experienced the consequences of schools being flooded with lots of illegal families, with lots of impoverished people, with lots of what would you say, demographics that have very high rates of uncharactered behavior, and having more and more kids slammed into your classroom so that class sizes could be upped more and more because the union wouldn't dare go against sanctuary cities and stuff like that. And I would say those things alone made me think, hold on, maybe there's more to the picture that's going on here. Maybe people have a certain character regardless of the class that they're in society. Maybe the left has a lot of assumptions that are based on how they feel about things and not actually what's happening. And maybe this idea that we can just welcome whoever and whenever into our country, and everybody's just a poor victim baby isn't true. Also being forced to get a vaccine that I did not want to get. Also watching everybody freak out about that, even though they were the same people that wouldn't dare be told that they couldn't get an abortion. That was really crazy to me. Also, what else? Being forced to take race training classes or like trainings for work, having to answer questions, like I've said before, of like, how does racism make Black people have higher rates of heart disease, I think the question was. And so at that point I was like, wait a second, hold on. Like this is not adding up. This is not the left that I thought that I was a part of. I was just concerned with like, can we be more efficient about healthcare so that we can rein in like the greedy side of corporations getting too big and becoming corrupt? Can we make this so it's like actually a healthy marketplace? Can we, maybe provide government jobs for things that we think we need, not just like to fill spots, but because, hey, we'd all like to have nicer parks, or hey, our infrastructure is really bad, we could probably do that efficiently. Or maybe we should, provide easier access to community college instead of all these private schools and the crazy debt. Like, that's kind of where I was coming from. Maybe we should provide maternity leave so people would actually want to have kids, or better yet, make it easier for us to live on one income that we halved when women entered the workforce. Like, that's where I was coming from. And so all of that combined with like, oh, fuck, like this was not the dream that I wanted. How am I gonna like live this way and work all the time and like try to be traditional, and like how could somebody have kids like this? All of that was extremely radicalizing. And then I started looking into like what the conservatives were actually about. And it became apparent that their interests were way more aligned with my interests. And while I had some things that, I disagree with from time to time, immediately when Trump was elected, I paid way less tax that year. And I remember thinking like, well, this alone is a great benefit to me. I also remember like Trump has gotten criticized for doing, was it called Project Warp Speed? I think it was, with the vaccines. But as far as I remember, the Trump administration was not pushing it like you had to get it, like the Biden administration was. So that was also like, okay, well, it seems like the Republicans are a little bit more open to individual freedoms, which I thought is what we were all about with My Body, My Choice. But we weren't on the left. And so and then at the same time, I kind of also started looking more into the claims of Christianity and Jesus, and the historical evidence for that, and like, oh, there being a truth, and like I should behave a certain way, which is a struggle for all of us to do, but like there is a real right thing to do and there is a real wrong thing to do. We don't just make up how we feel. We don't just make up what our sexuality is. We don't just make up what our gender is. And oh fuck, like these people are living in a materialist, self-centered, what would you say, unobjective delusion that they're taking everybody away with. And like actually when you order your life this way and you try to act more truthfully, and you say there's right and wrong, and you say there's boy and girl, and you say there's man and woman, and you say, oh fuck, like the family unit was designed for a reason and all of that, then you're like, okay, well, now I'm full on voting conservatively for the rest of my life, basically. And so that is kind of like the long and short of how I ended up here. And then just like the more you discover, the more you're able to see like the vast difference in worldview. And now it's really weird because I don't know if you guys experienced this, and sorry, I'm skipping chat. I will go back and read, but I now feel like I can meet somebody and within 5 minutes, without them disclosing it, can totally tell what their political affiliation is. Like with probably like a 95% accuracy rate. Like it's so deep into like what we believe and then how we act out in the world, and it has such crazy profound impacts. I just think it's absolutely insane that you can like interact with somebody and be like, oh, they don't care about this. They do care about this. They're acting like this thing is fine. They don't discipline their kids. Oh, they don't take that seriously. Oh, okay, they're probably a leftist or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting that like once you see it, you can't unsee it. And then everything becomes very apparent as far as like what is actually moving society in a better direction and what is not. And I do firmly believe that while the conservatives and the Republicans have their problems, and there's people in there, there's rhinos that I like super disagree with, that I think are super corrupt. Overall, the conservative side of things, I believe, is trying to move things in a pro-life, and I don't just mean like on the abortion issue, I mean like on whole of society, pro-life, working out, affirmative direction. And I feel the left, or I think the left, I believe them to be moving things in like, oh, we hate this, we don't like it this way, and we want to do whatever we feel like doing. And so we're going to try to push for whatever policy aligns with what we happen to feel like we like, and it's just what we want in the moment. If we can kind of, if we can strong arm it, then we will, is basically what I think that they think. She said conspiracy. That means she is right wing. We all used to be sweet summer children. I've long saw their situation as largely self-inflicted or a crab bucket mentality, with some exceptions that managed to claw out of it. Right wing, left wing. Why not buffalo wings? I do love buffalo wings. Obama brought Chicago politics national, and everything went to shit. I was so duped by him. I like totally bought into that. That was actually the first, well, I think that was the first election that I could vote in. And I was completely, oh, thank you for the follow. I think somebody else followed and I missed it. Sorry. But I was completely bought into like, race wars are over. Everything is good. Equality, and the black people are going to be free, or whatever the fuck I thought at the time. And then yeah, totally soured on that when he what was the one thing that really pissed me off? Oh, the single payer healthcare. I mean, there were a bunch of things that he did wrong, but the single payer healthcare and totally flopping on that on purpose was a big nail in the coffin. Thank you for the follow, Adnalaser 23. I think I said that correctly. Flats or drums? Wait, what do you mean? I must have said something. Flats or drums. I bet she even had an Obama phone. I did not have an Obama phone, actually. I forgot about that. Another former Bernie bro myself, too. 2016 was the year I was most politically tuned into the primary process. Watching what happened from watching the smears, the unequal enforcement of debate rules, and the DNC email leaks was the straw that broke my back. I literally knew people in the Democratic Party, like they were registered that way, who were defending the Democratic Party for not choosing Bernie democratically. They were saying, like, the party can choose whoever they want, like, because that's who they wanted. Because they wanted Hillary and the establishment, they were like, fuck democracy, we'll throw that out the window. Who the fuck cares that we're called the Democratic Party? Which I think just sums up what I was saying before about, like, just they'll do what they feel like to get what they want. There is no principle other than their immediate desire. Don't let family politics divide you. Just push yourself harder. Using common sense makes me far right for some reason. Fun times. Pages Fear, hello. Follow the money. A little living goes a long way to correcting leftist thinking, particularly taxes and freedom. Wait, can you realize I was actually thinking about that too? From spending time with people in general, sometimes who are like on the left side of things, I notice that a lot of left-leaning people, they haven't lived in shitty neighborhoods. They haven't lived around illegal immigrants. They haven't taught in schools, packed classrooms with illegals and homeless children and you know, a bunch of incohesive communities kind of slammed together. They have not had somebody break into their house. They've not been the victim of these crazy crimes that we're seeing or anything like that. And conveniently, they happen to always live in the nice part of the towns with all the white people where they can just go do their zoo field trip to get tacos and say that they're diverse, basically, and that they appreciate different people being in their community. So there's that I think they don't actually have any on the ground real experience. They're either that or they are like of those demographics and they just like don't see the difference in way of life. Or they are this weird other demographic that doesn't really associate with the demographics that we're talking about, with these problems, doesn't have to deal with these things, the fallout of these diverse society issues. But they do this weird virtue signaling thing. Thank you for the follow, Zevelyon. They do this weird virtue signaling thing where they almost like cherry pick people and instances of like, look at this amazing surgeon, or like, I got the best I keep using the taco example, but I just can't. It's such like a quintessential like liberal thing that they are so focused on, like almost like Piers Morgan with his curry, you know. It's like, dude, like it's just so it's just like so crazy annoying that they always have to like signal that like, I'm so cultured, I eat the foreign food or whatever. It's so fucking stupid. But anywho, there's leftists that do this weird thing where they like cherry pick like this amazing neurosurgeon from Zimbabwe, or like you know, this Mexican family that worked really hard to blah 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 their restaurant, and then like they'll just focus on those examples. Like they're like allergic to looking at trends. And when you point out trends, they act like, who's saying that? Where are you getting that from? Like, just because one doesn't mean all. You're like, I know, I'm literally not saying all. I'm just talking about a trend. Like, why is that so hard to click? But it's this weird, like, protective mechanism I've noticed where they like just feeling like they're virtuous and worldly or whatever they think they are. I eat the foreign food too. It's good. Their social culture is shit, not their food. Well, yeah, I mean, there is foreign food that's very good, but I'm just saying, like, the way that the liberals refer to it is like they're so amazing, awesome, cultured and educated because they go get tacos or whatever. Like they're like so virtue signally about the dumbest things, like when it comes down to food. You can't eat tacos if you are conservative. The way they say things like that is sugarcoating a bad barber shop. I have black friend energy. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Um, Corruption has gotten way out of control. Life has its ways of forcing us out of delusions, for sure. Doesn't help that we're literally indoctrinated into leftist assumptions about life. When you realize 90% of government activity, including schools, are are making working jobs to control voting blocks, that's when you get really, really pissed off. I completely agree. And I actually was going to pull up something kind of related to this. 33K per warm body. Wait, I don't know what you're referring to. Is it AI Florida man or OWL Florida man? Wear a mask was bad enough. Wearing the masks fucked up the kids like crazy. That stage of development and being able to pick up on facial expressions and social cues and just like the nuances of being a human, it's horrendous when you think about what that did. I was a default Jon Stewart enjoyer until I learned about the very fine people hoax. Yeah, that was pretty disturbing too. You know, the left still thinks that. That we have seen the whole clip of what Trump was actually saying about Charlottesville, and the left still believes that he endorsed Nazis. It's insane. Wearing a mask hides your true self. Ven speaking common sense. YouTube will shut her down. Watch out. Wait, I think I read that already. They always use food as a way to argue good culture. Well, I mean, if we fixed our problems and I can never get a good taco again, like I'd be fine. That's fine. I'll take it. I don't really need to ever eat one again. Like it's really not that big of a deal. The left exaggerate everything or simply put lie. Discovered you quite recently and I'm interested in your story about how you became based. Oh, I'm glad you're here for it. Benefiting by eating tacos and curry rice. Do you think I'm racist? No. The conflation of high-low trust cultures as being blank slate. And then the key difference, leftist thinking moves locus to externality and conservatism moves locus of control internal. Yes, that's a great way of phrasing it about the locus of control, which is hard, but like it's hard both ways. Like it's also hard to live in your emotions and with everybody else being the enemy and you're a victim. Like it's like choose your hard, you know, and one moves you forward and one destroys everything, as we're seeing. Oh yeah, the children got screwed with the mask thing. Terrible. The new atheist movement gave rise to the leftist crap. People always replace God with nonsense. Lack of belief, my butt. Well, it's that they're believing in something different. Like that's the thing, you know. I do not care about tacos. Conservatives have always believed in individuality and individualism because it's part of the Christian ethos about freedom. You cannot be forced to be Christian. You have to choose it of your own free will. We still have our fries and potato products. I mean, that is really all I need. I have like 3 different types of potato products. I have 4 different types of potato products in my house right now, and I'm set with that. I'd rather not eat foreign food and be safe than deal with sacrificing our home to eat a taco. To be fair, we have American Chinese food, and I think it's better than the authentic Chinese food. I love American Chinese food. I love Chinese restaurants. I love going in there, and the Chinese families, and they're all working together, being upstanding citizens, usually of society, with their Chinese music and their fortune cookies. I love the whole thing. Oh yeah, God is very real. Just wait and see. All of us will sooner or later. Wearing a double mask is like suffocating in a hot bath. Literally the worst thing ever. But so when I was thinking about this, I came across this tweet. Well, there's actually 2 things. But this kind of makes sense with what we were talking about. Let me share this. What we were talking about with the right and the left thinking and the implications on the way that we live. I think this should work. Yes? Yes? No? Yes. Oh, hang on. I have to select the tab. That's why. Okay. Yeah. It was just this Tim Pool tweet that I saw. I forget if it was this morning or yesterday. You guys probably have seen it or something like this. I think this is not the first time I've seen something like this, but there is a direct correlation between left-leaning political views and suffering from a mental illness, but this can be explained in a few different ways. Left politics attract the mentally ill. Left-leaning people are more likely to seek diagnosis, but there's also this element of what we're talking about here, where there is an ideological component to what we think and how that affects how we make decisions about the world, which we're going to get into a little bit later, talking about the grooming gains. Oh, thank you for the bits. Am true. Oh, I'm glad the emote worked that time. My cursed emote. Whoopsies, that's not what I meant to do, but we're gonna get into talking about like why what you believe affects the world and why it's really weird when people act like all religions, like we can practice all religions and respect them all equally, as if like they don't have implications on what we think, how we act, and how society turns out. But okay. Stoked to see another day of Venstreams. Hello, Teddy Grizz. Welcome. Recipes are a thing. Don't need to be one of them to know how to prepare their cultural food. Also, hi, Ven and Ninjas. Hello, Drunken Ferret. Eating Chinese food has GMO in it, so beware. Libs almost 50%. No wonder their eyes are wide. Yeah, leftism is always social group externalization and consensus do you mean communism or communalism? Sorry. The right is more kin boundary and individualistic. I don't always agree with Tim Pool, but I have been watching him for about 8 years now. Anywho, yeah, just showing like the percentage of US adults who have received a professional diagnosis of mental illness. 48% on the very liberal end, 40% for liberal, 29% moderate, centrist, 22% conservative, 16% very conservative. Yes, there could be other things that affect this, but I think if you look generally at the way your life turns out when you act on conservative principles versus when you act on liberal principles, there is a correlation between like how you deal with issues in your life and what leads to more mentally ill outcomes. This kind of reminds me of how like everybody at Stanford, there's like this crazy percentage of people that are like getting a disability because like getting registered that they have a disability because they get like a bunch of stuff, like they get a single dorm and they get extra test time, and I think they don't have to go to physical classes. So there's also like a big incentive for people who view their problems as external to then like label with a mental health label, you know what I'm saying, like in the Stanford case. So they get these extra things that society gives them. And like I've talked about this before, like I'm not against social programs, but I'm against how we do social programs. I certainly think social programs only need to be for citizens of our country, legitimate citizens of our country. And I also think that the way they're administered really matters. Like I'll say, this is kind of related to what I was talking about before from going from Bernie to base. Like I was a big universal healthcare proponent, but I don't want it under the left. Like I want it like how the European countries did it before they got invaded basically. And I want it to be administered in a way where it's just making our system more efficient. But if what universal healthcare is going to get us is paying for trans surgeries and MAID and abortions and forcing me to get a vaccine that's questionable because they're in bed with the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies, ironically, while they're like positioning themselves as being the party of the people, like, no, thank you. I don't want the Democrat healthcare. Take it back. I'd rather have none than be subjected to that dystopian nightmare. So just saying. I always view the left as infants. They never mature to the point of individuation. That is why it tends to crop up in an area where social structure allows for weak skill development. Chair is late. Get in here, Chair. I dropped out of high school at 16 and got a job. Diploma only took me 2 weeks at 19 to get. Wasn't a hard test at all. I always wondered how that worked. Like how you get a diploma. Diploma is different than a GED, right? If you don't graduate from high school. Yes, we need to gut the welfare state and redo the whole thing for specific rare individuals that need help with extensive auditing. Exactly. Or like there's a work requirement, or you actually have to have a real documented disability. And I think people who have real disabilities, it's actually hard for them to get welfare help because the whole system is so bogged down by a bunch of scammers and fraud, and also people taking advantage of the system, that people who actually really need it are really sick or really old or disabled. Like, it's hard for them to actually not only get the care they need, like monetary wise, but actually like get their cases processed, because the whole thing is just so bogged down with fraud and incompetency. The more people dependent on money from the government, the more that they will vote for free money candidates. That's probably their end goal. To be fair, I don't think the idea that conservatives are less likely to seek out a psychiatrist is far-fetched, which makes sense that there would be fewer diagnoses. That said, you can interact with a random person on either side and see a stark difference in general mental health. Yeah, I agree with that. So I don't think it's the main reason for such a gap in diagnosis. I'm curious if this chart tracks total population or simply those that sought out mental health. I think it was just those who have received a professional diagnosis of a mental illness. So I don't think it's general population. And wanting us to pay for trans surgeries and reparations and vaccines and healthcare for Africans who want to rub themselves all over Ebola babies, literally. So true. Or get excessive x-rays and tests that we don't need. It keeps people dependent on their power. I was listening to something, an old lecture. I wanted to listen to it on stream, but it was pretty long, from Jordan Peterson talking about communists and Nazis, and talking about, I forget exactly, it was like a personality dive or something, from like 12 years ago. But he was talking about, what somebody's chat just reminded me. Oh, he was talking about big government and big corporations, and how like on a sociological level, when things get really big, like it's easy for corruption and distorted thinking, and like decay and rot to develop, if I'm phrasing that correctly. Which is why I could be somebody who's like pro business, and that we loosen up the reins on what it takes to start a business and have an LLC, or that we free up home businesses, and don't put all of these like stifling regulations on competition. But at the same time, like if somebody's cheating, they're cheating, and we stand for justice, and we actually put in safeguards against cheating in the economy, which to me is not the same as like just redistributing everything, the way the leftists want to do, even though they're basically just giving it to themselves. Like I feel like if we look at how people are, like who get in charge of BLM, like that shows us exactly the character of what they want to do. They don't want to actually like redistribute, like fix the cheating parts of society, whether that be the fraud in government, or whether that be like corrupt companies who are actually cheating the system and who are not competing fairly. They just want to take it for themselves, as far as I can see. It keeps people dependent on their power. The left abused it with LBJ to keep poorer communities like the Black community after civil rights sucking on their teats to survive. I got my GED myself. That's the good enough degree. What is this real? The chart? Yes. Dang, you can talk, Venatrix. Bonus, you make sense. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Biz corpo spending. Could also make the argument that liberals are very fast in getting diagnosed with mental illnesses. Don't forget, they often treat them as kind of badges. True. Nazism equals National Socialism. So I need to look into this more. But I see a lot of people who say like the Nazis were leftist, but my take is more of like a horseshoe thing. And like I said, I do need to look into the specifics more. But I understand that that's what they were called. But at the same time, I think that the Nazis and like the communists are like the same on the opposite sides of the political spectrum. Like if you've ever seen that chart of like authoritarianism, like you could be authoritarian right, or you could be authoritarian left, and like the Nazis would be like authoritarian over ordering, and the communists would be like under ordering, like chaos, if I'm understanding that correctly. And like I'm pretty sure the Nazis also like disabled labor unions and stuff like that. And so I don't like totally agree with the framing that Nazis were like socialist, like leftist. I understand they were called like the National Socialist Party and all of that. But as far as I understand, there's like more to the political underpinnings there, of what they were, if that makes sense. Regulations get enacted all the time, but rarely rescinded. If you look at competence, craft, resilience as being the core of genuine self-esteem, when we deprive children of the development challenges that develop genuine maturity. Oh, that's your part one. Hold on. Part two, like adult structured and intervened playtimes deprive children of real development opportunity that would develop on their own. Over supervision deprives the natural learning process. I completely agree, and that's my big take on education too. I think our entire way of educating children, whether it be at public schools or private schools, is absolutely bonkers. We should be doing like a play-based model for a good portion of childhood. Like I think in Germany, they had the kindergartners just go outside and they do like outside kindergarten and forests. I think it should be like purely play-based and social until probably like 7. And then at that point, I think we should like transition to like play project based. And then as you get older, like you start kind of picking what you want, and almost like not college, but like a more of like an apprenticeship type idea, like when you're in high school, so that you can kind of start honing in on interests that you have in a practical way. But this whole like kindergarten is the new second grade, we're testing 5-year-olds on computers that don't even know how the internet works, like absolutely fucking insane. And I think it's done on purpose to mess up the socialization of people. Is this about some specific mental illness? No, it was just like in general. Letting children struggle develops real genuine competency. The Nazis were leftists, they were socialists. Nazis were the worst part of both. Nazis and communists are only at war because of the Spanish Civil War. I don't know what that means, Caleb. What do you mean by that? I looked it up. It's fucking bananas. Socialism kind of needs fascistic approaches to actualize. Can't actually seize the means of production if you aren't wielding the state's monopoly or violence. Not equals 60% left, 40% right. Removing creationism and prayer from the schools was such a big mistake. In the Netherlands, we drop 12-year-old children in the woods and tell them to find their way home. Why is it overall 155% though? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. That's really weird. That doesn't add up, huh? That's kind of weird. This is from the Mental Health in America National Survey of Mental Health. So I don't know where Tim got this chart from, but that's kind of weird that it is over 100%. TBH, I reject the Nazis were socialists, but I don't argue it because it's irrelevant in the end. Tyranny and the unprincipled removal of political enemies is bad. Kindergarten in Germany is usually from ages 4 to 6, 7. Well, in the United States, we like test kids as young as 4 years old, which I think is fucking wild. It's the percentage of each individual group. Okay. So, right. It's not supposed to add up to 100% of a population. It's saying what percentage of each group type received professional diagnosis of a mental illness, if I understand that correctly. So like for people who are very liberal, 48% of that group sought or received professional diagnosis of a mental illness. I think that's the idea. Yeah, we got it. Okay. And then something else that I saw, which you guys will probably like, I really like this Courage is a Habit page, her page on X, but this is kind of relevant to teaching. It says saying, this was like responding to something else, I think, but I can't sign into X on my private tabs for some reason, but I want to use my private tabs just for like being safe on stream. So sorry, I can't like go back to the original thing if it was connected. However, this stands on its own. And this is kind of what I was talking about with like the problems that radicalized me in schools as well. Saying, but studies show cell phones are bad for children to explain the complete deterioration of children's mental health is like saying studies show drinking soda every day is bad for a child's health. To explain why Sarah is doing horribly while ignoring the fact that she lives that she lives that hold on. It was supposed to I think it was supposed to say her mother, while ignoring that she lives there selling that. I think it's supposed to say that her mother sells drugs and is a prostitute. So sorry for the typo in their tweet. Blaming a device is a lot easier and cleaner, isn't it? It also doesn't require you to get your hands dirty or risk being called a racist, a bigot, or a transphobe. It feels good to say it's that damn Zuckerberg and TikTok. That's what they're counting on. Don't fall for a misdirection. It's why all the Marxist teachers unions happily agree with Jonathan Haidt. What a perfect cover, because Jonathan Haidt wrote that book about like attention, I think it was. I don't know much further about that, but I know there was like the popular book that I think he wrote talking about like our attention spans or lack thereof. Today, Junior. The funny part is that the USSR and all leftists constantly try to pathologize dissent. Depending on whether you'll go to school at age 6 or 7, depending on when you were born in your birth year. Yet Germany was the first to crawl out of the Great Depression. Clearly, they were doing something notably different from the Soviet Union economically. I have an argument with my best friend over socialism and communism. I say they're both the same. Socialism is slow, communism is quick, same result. Nazi literally means National Socialist. What are they talking about? I always thought it was something like how the Democrats are Republicans and the Republicans were Democrats, and like the Nazis used that language because it was useful in their society to like appeal to a socialist kind of perspective, but that they weren't actually socialists and didn't act like that. That's kind of what I thought, but I think there's more to look into there. I mean, the cell phone isn't the total problem. It is a problem and a rather harmful since smartphones have come out, but it is a parenting community problem at the end of the day. If your kid is a dealer, prostitute, I think it was saying, I don't think it was trying to say that the kid was a prostitute. I think it was saying, maybe I misread it, because there's a typo in here. While she lives there, sells drugs, and is a prostitute. I think the point was to say, like, it's easy for people to just say, oh, it's the cell phones, that's why kids are crazy. And kids are crazy. I don't think kids are the same way that they were like when I was in school. But in this little like caricature, it says obscene books, SEL, secrets from parents, gender confusion. I don't know what CSE is. Restorative justice, climate crisis fear, white supremacy, radical feminism. Children spend 7 hours a day, 5 days a week for 13 years in that environment, and then cell phones are like, oh, the kids are just crazy because of the phones. When obviously there's lots of things going on. Like I said, the lack of stable civilized community. Hello, imagine Gyarados, Venatrix and friends leaving a lurk. Hello to True Reality. Hi Ven, how's it going? Oh, it's going great. We're just spitting straight facts about how fucked up our society is. Welcome. It's also the fact that kids aren't disciplined, all this like soft parenting bullshit. It's also the fact, I'm going to say this too, that most kids are just like shot out the womb and put into daycare. And Jordan Peterson talks about this too, like the first 3 years of life being so important to childhood development with the mother. But, our lovely feminist order hasn't really prioritized things that are good for the mother or children conveniently. I was thinking about this yesterday. It'd be great to have some type of like, if we want our population to get back up, the government could think of jobs that we actually could use, like efficiently, not force them on anybody or anything, but we could have some type of like even contracted program where the government works with companies in like high demand fields and tries to like give remote jobs to women who are going to have a kid. Like you have to be going to have a child, and that's like an incentive that you get a remote job so that you can actually like still be productive, contribute to society, whatever, but also like, actually have time to pop the kid out and breastfeed and heal your body before you're just slammed back into the workplace. Because I don't know about you, but like you really have to abuse an animal a lot to make them not want to have children, and that's the society we're looking at. So I think we could be doing more for that. Side note, and it's crazy to me that feminists have never been for anything like that because they're a total sham. I don't know if I've ever caught Miss Venatrix live before. Hello, Miss Venatrix and chat. Hello, Anseno. It's a new day. I'm streaming on Wednesdays for now, during the summer, Wednesdays and Saturdays. And this Saturday is a special collaboration day, so I'll talk to you guys more about that at the end of stream. Socialism is the science of dealing with the common weal. Communism is not socialism. Marxism is not socialism. The Marxians have stolen the term and confused its meaning. Is a Hitler quote. Wait, did you mean common weal or something else, Technorkin? I'm just telling you what the Nazis themselves said about socialism and their use of its label, but it really is of no consequence. I don't mind people confusing or conflating Nazis and socialists. Socialism, oh, sorry, I didn't read your first tweet. Why am I saying it's a tweet? Gosh, I promise I'm not a grandma. I can use the internet, guys. Your first chat message. Socialism was winning the popular sentiment at the time and winning overwhelmingly, so the Nazis adopted the label to attract members for the purpose of winning their elections. But after winning power, they turned on their socialist members, renounced socialism as evil, and juiced, then killed them. That was kind of more what I had thought was the history there. Makes sense. I don't remember ever hearing about Nazis having universal health care or any social programs at all. It's those darn phones and video games. Parents say that they also don't parent their children. They literally don't. I also think the whole way that we have school set up is messed up. Like, kindergarten used to be a half-day program, and now we have kids at 5 years old doing a 7-hour workday and then doing, let me see, if school can get out, usually schools get out at like 2 or 3, depending on the school. Some schools go till 4, but let's say 3, and then a lot of kids stay at school and aftercare programs until 4, 5, or 6 o'clock. So you're having 5-year-olds do like a 9. Let's say they get to school at 8. They're doing like a, what is that? 12, 1, 2. Like a 10-hour workday. It's fucking insane. And so that's really messed up. Also been perpetuated forward by the lovely feminist order that we have, because we can't, as a society, afford to have a parent home or work part-time for most people. So that's crazy. Parents don't want to be parents these days. I have no idea why. Not trying to promote outside of stream, but wanted to share something that came from me discussing a song from Sabaton with my coworker. What is it? You could always put it in the Discord too. I think I have link sharing off because of like spamming and stuff like that. But if you want to add it to the Discord, the link should be on my YouTube bio to join the Discord and add the song you were talking about. They lied running as a socialist party and changed once in power, very similar to a lot of the left works, but yeah, they were authoritarian. Parenting has become a problem because they spoil their kids too much. I mean, if you think about it this way, like, I feel like this all started with the boomers, okay? Not to blame one generation, and I'm not saying all boomers. However, the boomers had it like pretty fucking easy compared to their parents, generally speaking. And they basically got to live out like the American dream without much effort or understanding of what it took to get that. They didn't go through wars the same way or any of that. The Great Depression, none of that. And so they got like the financial boon, I think is the right word, of the Second World War and everything that came with that. And so then they went about their lives like la da 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 da. This is just how life is. But they got it on like both ends. Like they wanted to have their wealthy lives, go on vacation, have their multiple cars, generally, okay? I'm not talking about all boomers, but like generally, a lot of boomers. Raise their kids like, whatever, the world will always be like this, the world has always been like this, we'll just be completely illiterate on history and how unique of a time this is. Not set up our kids for any possible future that could be worse than what we had. And kind of just want to have grandkids and like figure it out, basically. And what was I saying that in reply to? I feel like through this kind of like degeneration, we've developed this really low and they're mostly liberal thinking of the boomers. We developed this really low character society. We've also imported a bunch of people that don't speak English, who have kids and throw their kids into school and are like not really invested in the communities, with different cultures, blah, 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 whatever. And so like, to me, it's no surprise that we have like a low class society, a low character level of people, and then they're popping out kids and and raising them, well, what do you expect the kids to be like when their parents are low character and just either having kids to have kids or having kids but they're both working full time and not invested in their kids at all? Like, this to me is the result of uninvested parents. Uh, 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 I learned, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, seen but not heard, manners and courtesy in public at all times, respect authority, that was the norm. She was bothered by the general subject of one of their songs without understanding the intent wasn't to glorify the movement, but to highlight the soldiers sworn to their country regardless of lead. Oh. Yeah, send the song that you were thinking in the Discord. Park them in front of a screen instead of spending time with them. That's true. Tired of parents trying to force raising their kids onto others. You know, kids don't even need to be potty trained to go to school. So there's that too. Like, I don't know how that's okay. And so parents are disincentivized to do that. Also, pretty sure there's government programs where parents can get free diapers. So what's the incentivization structure to potty train your kid when you're just going to get free diapers forever? Another inside scoop. That's fucking disgusting. Tired of parents trying to force raising their kids onto others. They need to stop trying to make the government and companies raise their kids. Yes, boomers started this bullshit, especially left boomers evolving into the hippies. Yeah, that's like when parents say like, when parents will be like, oh, like, I'm going to sue TikTok because my kid saw like a body dysmorphia video and she like has an eating disorder. Like, oh, come the fuck on. Like, are you a parent or not? Like, how about you get your kid off of TikTok and take some responsibility for, you know, teaching them how to process information and live as like a together human being. Everybody's just looking for a payout. What child isn't potty trained by 4? What failure occurred in the parents' heads? Oh, Dizzy, way more than you would believe in our society. I'm not sorry. You're not Dizzy. You're Cher. I saw the PFP and for a second I thought it was Dizzy's. Way more children than you would believe don't get potty trained, don't get taught how to speak with words that make sense in English. Just get plopped in front of iPads and a diaper, basically. Technology and society made women lazy and they don't find putting an effort in raising kids anymore. I mean, I definitely think women can be very like low class and, you know, absorbed in social media. However, I feel like it's the broader feminism problem. It takes a lot to do like a full-time job and then also to be like a full-time parent at the same time for both men and women. But for like those first few years of life, the woman is like the more important parent as far as I understand for development during those first few years. It's not like the woman is always the more important parent or like that, you know, if something happened to her, the father couldn't do a good job raising them. It's just like when it comes to specialty, of like our biology, as far as I understand, the first few years it's like crucial for the mother's interaction for a child's development, and then as they get older, like the father is like a more important rearing force. And so to me, the massive problem here is like that we don't have more stay-at-home moms, or even just like moms who can do part-time work and not have to put their kid into school all day and daycare all day and turn their you know, their rearing over to other people. Boomers are definitely to blame. They can blame us when they give up power, which is looking like never. They wanted drugs, sex, and rock and roll, and to have the security of living a respectable life, got both, and pulled up the ladder behind them. Literally, glad I am Gen X then. Sorry if I'm missing your chats. I'm trying to like make sure I'm keeping up, but also not taking too long on scrolling. Also, kids absorb the mood of society. Adults feeling hopeless about dating, buying a home, cost of living, the climate, everything affects them more than adults realize. That's super true. A classroom in my mind is like a little sample of how things are going, and things are not going well in society. Consider me as the only millennial that is not left. What child isn't potty trained by 4? Yeah, I read that one. My kid is currently 4 and understands how to build a bookshelf, provided you help him lift the heavy stuff. How the fuck can you not have your kid potty trained by the age of 4? Jesus Christ. Well, it sounds like you're doing an excellent job as a parent, Essence Thief. But yeah, you would be disturbed at like, I've seen kids who are just mute. you know, at different ages in school because they just don't get talked to. They don't actually have anything wrong with them. Their parents are just fucking insane. It's crazy. They leave the kids by themselves, or they have like the older siblings who aren't like that old watch them. Retard won't get Ven's channel in trouble. Wait, what are you replying to? Oh, Drunken Ferret said that. This has just kept trickling down the generations, and now we have retarded and millennials having mental breakdowns left and right. Okay. So yeah, so there's that. What else did I have for you guys? I need to look at my notes. Oh, we're gonna talk about the grooming gangs too. This is really disgusting. I knew that this was going on, and I think everybody probably suspected that it was widespread, but Rupert Lowe, I think, put out his report. I'm not going to go through the whole report. I didn't get a chance to look through it, but I did like skip around X and look at what other people were saying and wanted to show you some of the stuff. I have to be careful because some of it is really horrific and the language in there is really graphic and disgusting. Man, streamers talking about a deep subject, being thorough, and can't keep up with the chat at the same time. Dang, skill issue. I have to train the true reality. We probably can tone down the auto mod on kick, Ven. I think I put it on the lowest setting. So maybe we just turn it off. Maybe one level. I don't get how people can neglect their kids. Me and my girlfriend have talked about the possibility of kids, and we can't imagine letting a screen raise the kids or having them be underdeveloped. Yeah, it's really gross. It's really disturbing. Most millennials have got indoctrinated into left dumbasses. Most of my friends are liberals, unfortunately. They are smart people, but culturally and politically cinevertard? Why did you write it like that? Cinevertard? I don't know what that means. I'm an okay parent at best. I really didn't have any good people to model what to do. I'm just trying to encourage the kids' interest in cars, tools, and encourage problem solving, aligned thinking instead of coming to me to do it for him. Well, that is like a baseline that a lot of kids don't have. So on my scale, that's rated as excellent. I'm just winging it. There's no completely getting rid of auto mod on kick. Yeah, it's an emote, Ven. Oh, well, it didn't show me the emote, so I'm looking at like the combined chat, so it didn't show me the emote. So when you guys say something weird, I probably should go to Kick and be like, oh, it's actually a chat. It's not just something weird. Oh, I see it now. Cute. Okay. Yeah, let's switch over to this. So this is the other thing. I feel like leftists have this thing where like it really pisses me off. It's like I was looking at like Guess Who the other day, not last week. And there's like always got to be the kid with their burqa and whatever. And it's just like this idea that like all religion is equal and but Christianity is always offensive, but like the other religions are all equal. Like do your yoga and Buddhism and your Muslim. Oh, so cool. You have your Muslim tradition, whatever. But somehow talking about Jesus is like the easiest way to shut down a room and make everybody feel offended. But so this idea that what you believe doesn't have an effect on reality, which like obviously to anybody who's not could figure that out. And I think that's what we're seeing with these grooming gangs. I am not like deeply educated on Islam, but I know enough to know that it's incompatible with Western society and the values that we hold. There's some really sick things that Islam is willing to promote and not even not even condemn, like pedophilia and child marriage and just crazy ass shit. Their characterization of God is not compatible with Jesus or anything like that. And so like the more I learn about this, basically what I'm trying to say is it's just very apparent that what you believe affects reality. Ergo, when you have a certain religion that is becoming more widespread in a country that it wasn't traditionally in, it's going to have an effect on the activities within that country. And to ignore that is to intentionally put your head in the sand, or like want your own country's destruction, which is what I think we're seeing in the UK, especially in this instance. Speaking of the grooming gangs, have you taken a look at the 220-page inquiry report? No, I've been looking at like things people are pulling out of there. Oh, you meant except for Christianity. Are you talking about me? I was saying, hold on. Could you explain thy meaning? Were you talking about me or were you talking about, oh, hold on. Yes, sorry, not me. Got it. I got confused. Sorry. Brother Ferret. Yeah, so anyway, I didn't actually open the report. I've been looking at things people are pulling out of the report, which we're going to kind of talk about. Religion is fine as long as it doesn't tell you to hold yourself accountable and fight against your vices and righteously judge others and to hold them accountable conveniently. They found the worst cult in Islam and somehow let the Muslim Brotherhood trick them into thinking they are diverse and inclusive. Posted the vid and vids you want Ben to see. Gonna go run some errands. Want to share before I run away. Thank you for sharing. Okay. I have this Muslim guy at work, love him to death, but he was telling me about Islam and how Jesus didn't actually die. Allah just made it seem like that, and that he's a great trickster. Well, there's that. There's also like their historical evidence like doesn't hold up at all, especially when you compare it to that of the resurrection. And yeah, I think it's a convenient religion is what I would say from what I've seen. Because I really want to follow a God that is a renowned liar. Yeah, there's that. And there's also like their whole thing about, what's it called? Like jizya or something, like how they're cool with lying, like how it's part of their creed, how to get one of your highest positions, like in their afterlife is to like do jihad. I mean, like, do we really need to say more, you know? Consummating marriage at 9 years old with what was her name, Aisha, Muhammad's wife, and then like that's what we're modeling the religion after. That Islamic countries and the religion itself won't condemn pedophilia. I mean, like, come on. Oh, takya, yeah. Jizya is the tax you have to pay, right? If you're not a Muslim. I think I was mixing up the words. Islam is a wildly inaccurate book historically and scientifically. Okay. Screw Takia, more tequila. Anywho, Matt Walsh said rape. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't know. Who even knows anymore? Grape. For the record, do you guys like green grapes better or red grapes better? Because I think green grapes are better, and I also think the ones that that taste like cotton candy are kind of gross. Just side note, I'm not going to do a poll right now, but if I were to do a poll, it would probably be that. Grape gangs are not some kind of aberration. Ask any combat veteran what they saw in Afghanistan. The sexual torture and slavery of children is utterly commonplace in Muslim countries. It's part of their culture, which is why it's suicidal to import that culture into the West. Green, but I'll eat both. Green are the best. Green, yeah, green. Not even a competition. I totally agree. I can get behind this. Green grapes are superior grapes. Red grapes are just kind of like bland, I feel. Okay, what else have I got? Okay, this is from Based AF 1776X. Replying to Rupert Lowe. This should be mandatory viewing for anyone in Britain who still supports immigration or Keir Starmer. Grape gangs have operated in at least 149 local authority districts across the UK. And you can see the lighter red is suspected and the darker red is confirmed. This is from the report. Red makes for better drinks, I think, but I'd prefer to eat green grapes. And a full Florida man sends a green grape in chat. Oh no, here we go again. Cotton candy grapes are the goat, but red grapes are also delicious. Teddy Grizz, what is this divisive set of opinions your berryness kind has about gummy bears and about cotton candy grapes? Cotton candy grapes taste like artificial GMO influenced fruit, okay? They're disappointing to me. I do not endorse. Green grapes all the way, by the way. So there's that. And then what else did I have here? Oh, this is kind of like a broader statement from Rupert Lowe. I'm going to read it because he's great. We love him. We hope we have a Restore Britain in the U.S. that's a Restore U.S., but I fear that that possibility is becoming less and less every day. He said, essentially what has happened is that the decaying political establishment has imported millions of migrants from alien cultures that are entirely incompatible with the British way of life. And like, we are no longer accepting that we have to be compatible with everyone. Like, that's not how life works. Get over it. Those migrants have colonized large parts of our country and live their lives how they choose to do so because our authorities are too frightened of being called racist to challenge them, which is just like the most pathetic thing. And this is also the other thing. You ever notice, I don't know if you guys experienced this growing up, this like end of history ideology that like everything that's ever happened or everything that's ever going to happen, big like world wars or, fights between civilizations or civilizations dying and coming about, like all that has happened. It's all over and it's done and we're living in the end of history. I don't know what kind of fucking bullshit that is, but I felt so indoctrinated by that sometimes it's still hard for me to like conceptualize that we're like living in history as well. And so this idea that other countries would be like trying to colonize Western countries, like no shit, they'd be trying to colonize Western countries. Like when did the game of civilization stop being played? Because I didn't get that memo. Anywho, Rupert Lowe said that has meant attitudes have flourished and spread, which in short treat women and non-Muslims like shit, which is also why the feminists are so fucking annoying and unserious and makes me think that women shouldn't be involved in politics at all. What is going on, Zevelyon and Drunken Ferret? You guys need to get a room. Why are we DMing each other so much in chat? What is happening over there, boys? Ven and Rupert are the only counter to my black pill. Well, the only... It's hard to have counters to black pills when things are so dark. But, you know, I hope for eternity and that justice is made by God and that things are corrected and everything is put as it should be and that this is all part of a video game that one day we will meet each other and be like, oh, remember we played in that crazy ass world? Yeah, what the fuck was going on with that? But everything was right and the world was made correct and whole again and justice was served and up was down, down was up and all of those good things. So yeah, we have to fight against the black pill. Ven being casually profound. I'm late! Hello, Candy Jim! Get in here! Welcome! Game of Civilization has been going on since the dawn of mankind. The clanker is racist, Ven, and hates facts, so I'm spazzing out. How dare you slander us? Fun fact, Muslims hate dogs because Muhammad got angry with a dog, almost alerting to his gay lover visiting at night. Because dogs are angelic beings that we are blessed with here on earth. I would fight a war just over dogs alone, just saying. And it's not because I'm biased, because I'm a wolf either. I'm Christ pilled. Shit sucks, but I will have inheritance in the afterlife. This is just a really bummy stop on the way home. True. It's hard to like keep that in mind sometimes. Like I get really immersed in this video game, you know? A toenail shall be removed and be your penance. Islam's attitude on dogs tells you everything you need to know. I remember even watching like what's his name? The guy who got his teeth knocked out, Sneeko. I remember watching Sneeko like asking like Islamic leaders about like disturbing questions and like visibly you could see he was like, fuck, I already commit to this, but this is really like disturbing, but I already commit to this publicly, so I can't like go back on this. I'm glowing so much I'm giving off radiation poisoning. Wait, why are you glowing? What's going on? You're not gonna believe this. Yep, he had gay lovers and the dogs were snitching on him. And I probably can't say that part on stream. Yikes. Neo. He made up Gabriel telling him dogs were evil because he was scared of dogs so he could kill dogs for outing him for being gay. Well, this religion just keeps getting more and more convenient, doesn't it? Sneeko is sneaky. The Middle East is basically a cesspool of violence and hate. I'm just saying, without being completely educated at all, I remember being like my little like teenager leftist self and like, oh, like the Middle East and all the, you know, brown countries are just because we hurt them and that's why they're the way they are. And like, what the fuck? Like the left doesn't even have any ideology behind this about why things are the way they are in the third world countries. Sneeko just wants to be gay with Andrew Tate. Jizya is tax, Takia is holy deception. Yes, I had it mixed up before. Glowing equals pissed off. It's from Kirsha. Oh, I like that. I never thought that before. I thought you meant like glowing like a glowy or glowing like happy about something. Yep, that is a true story about Gabriel and Muhammad being gay. The dog outed Muhammad. La 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 la. I don't know. I don't watch these people. Okay. Where were we? That I'll read the last one again. That has meant attitudes have flourished and spread, which in short treat women and non-Muslims like shit. And yes, I do mean that. Conservative, labor, and reform politicians are all directly responsible for this vast importation. Personally, I will never forgive anyone responsible. Vulnerable, working class, and this is what's disturbing about like the girls that were targeted by these grooming gangs, if you will. Conservative, vulnerable, working class white girls were treated like a piece of meat, raped, abused, tortured, murdered. It was a racial attack, and it was a coordinated attack all across Britain. They targeted these girls because they were vulnerable, they were young, they were white, and there's I think there's like testimony in the report talking about like the racial slurs that they would call them. I'm pretty sure some of the wives are now even coming out like defending their husbands that were part of these grooming gangs, and like just how they would refer to these women as outside of like the honor code of their community, because they're white Christian, mocking them for wearing a crucifix during abuse and all that. So really like unsettling, inciting to start a crusade, I think. Until the political class accepts that fact, nothing will ever change. These men do not live by the same rules as us. It is all beyond evil. And this is a coordinated network of organized crime right across the country. It is not random groups of scumbags doing this. It is a network, organized, ruthless, efficient. It is an industry. This is not homegrown. We imported it. We welcomed it, embraced it. We continue to do so. That was a choice. Reversing it is also a choice, one we will make. A restored British government will remove millions of foreign nationals who hate our way of life and have no reason to be in our country, gone, and never allowed back. With the British people's approval, we will reintroduce the death penalty. If a Pakistani, I can't believe they don't have the death penalty at all in the UK. Is that true? That's wild. If a Pakistani man has been gang raping a young English girl, torturing her, passing her around to his brothers so she can also be raped, we will put him to death, and I look forward to that. I really do, he said. Our report has outlined exact recommendations on what needs to be done to eradicate this cancer. A restored Britain government will deliver it. We will use the full force of the British state to crack down on these rapists and their enablers in the most brutal fashion imaginable. It will be swift and ruthless, and it will be done finally. I'm not hearing the Buckingham Palace saying anything about this, huh? Not hearing anything about that. And I include their enablers in that. That is why Farage tried to put me in prison, because I wanted to deport complicit foreign family members. He found that so very extreme, admitting it on national television, simply remarkable. Hearing the evidence and testimonies provided in our inquiry, I can assure you that I am holding a moderate position. I want the scumbags gone, deported, never allowed back. For the very worst among them, I want them permanently removed, he said. Restored Britain will get called extreme, racist, Islamophobic, and whatever else by The Guardian, Farage, Nadine Dorries, the BBC, the Daily Mail, Zach Polanski. I do not give a shit. I am just grateful that there is finally a political party with the courage to do what needs to be done. We are going to get our country back. We are going to restore Britain. Yeah, I think we need like a new term that's like Christphobic that we call people when they're anti-Christian or when they like freak out when they hear Jesus' name, because this Islamophobia is fucking stupid, and it's a shield that they've been using forever to hide from the real evils that their ideology purports. So just saying. That was from, oh, that was from, okay, I actually don't know if I can show this on stream. Hang on a second. That was from a chat that oh, that's me. That was a chat that I have with Grok. That might be something I show you guys, because I was looking at the tweets that I have up, and like, this is really disturbing. I don't think that I can read this on, I'm not gonna show you it on stream, but I'm gonna read some of the things in here. This was somebody replying to Rupert Lowe, so sorry that there's nothing on screen right now, but I'm gonna try to like censor it myself. 250,000 British girls. What's included in this report is fucking harrowing. A baby abused, had cigarettes stubbed out on it. Mother was forced to watch, then murdered. People were set on fire. There were red rooms with awful things going on in there. There was involvement of dogs, if you guys have heard about that. And like sick sexual bets. Abortions that were not performed medically. Awful. I don't even think I can read this line. Party houses, so take that as you will. Other forms of torture. Girls were involved as young as 5 or 6. There were dog cages included. There were people being branded with an M for Muhammad, according to this woman. I think she's pulling this from the report, so feel free to go look at it yourself if you haven't. But I just feel like this is important that we know the disgusting things here. Girls mocked for wearing crucifix during these happenings. Threats of murder, and also like the awful things that would happen after that. All of this was predominantly carried out by South Asian, Pakistani. Somebody was talking about that before. They keep saying it's Asian, but the predominant thing here is Pakistani Muslim men, and they're just trying to like manipulate the numbers. Smaller numbers from Somali, Iranian, Syrian, Turkish, Bangladeshi, and Iraqi men, and yet the perpetrators were let off. Authorities turned a blind eye, and it continued to this day. Because people are scared of being called racist. I actually think it's like a deeper thing than that. I know some people are like scared of being called racist, but like the coordinated effort here, I feel like this is where I get conspiratorial about like the dark Satanist cult basically running the world, and them wanting it to be like a one world government, and like what was on those stones, what were they called? The stones that were somehow mysteriously like destroyed recently, the tablets that were like saying a very small population. I forget what those were called. But you know, I don't think that this is happening by accident. Like, I think there's real racial tensions and force here. Georgia Guidestones, exactly, at play. But I don't think the policies that's making politicians just let people into our country is just happening by accident. I think there's a coordinated underpinning by like the shadow governments and the shadow intelligence agencies and satanic cults and elite families and whatever you will. And then there's the people who like acted out, who are like puppets, who are completely depraved and satanic themselves. But this is not just like an accidental thing that's happening. There's a real attack on like a civilized individual, freedom fighting, gunslinging, business owning, like what the American spirit was, kind of way of life, which like our ancestors were Great Britain, like they pioneered the civilized world, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just saying. This is super disturbing. Maybe I'll link this on Discord later, these claims. I think they're coming from the report directly, but like always feel free to double check me, because I did not go through the report. I'm just going off of what this woman is pulling out of the report, it seems. And then apparently, I can show you guys this. Apparently, there's what's it called? Apparently the mainstream media is like completely not covering this at all, at least in the UK. I haven't really checked the mainstream media here. And Wokeness says, we now know that 250,000 white girls have been raped in the UK by Muslim migrants, and politicians enabled it. How is this not on every front page? This was something else disturbing. I saw this. When Fiona's mother, this was purported one of the victims. When Fiona's mother called the police to report her daughter missing and mentioned a history of abuse by Asian men, I don't know exactly what they were referencing there, but there was like that South Asian, like countries near the Middle East. I don't really know why they keep calling it that. The handler told her, you can't describe them as Asian men because that's racist. You should just be glad your child is being taught a different culture. On one occasion, a police officer returned Fiona to the house where the abuse was occurring and told the men to have fun with her. On another occasion, police instructed the abusers that if they could persuade Fiona to sign herself out of care, the police would stop bothering them. So that's super disturbing. I also like how many police officers are also like Muslim? Like how many police officers aren't even like foreign born in the UK? I don't know. Just another, compromisation there. I can't show that one either. Hold on a second. This is just by somebody, I don't know, it has 1 million views. I think this is somebody who is saying they were involved in this too, but like take it with a grain of salt because I don't know if they're like somebody who's been vetted, but she was saying that she was groomed from age 11 to 16, had awful things happen to her on her 12th birthday in a graveyard, had to dig her own grave, was drugged, beaten, tortured, had a forced abortion. Multiple men were involved and some white British, ignored by police. I don't know. Like I said, not sure if that's true, but, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just saying I'm not sure if it's true because I actually don't know who this woman is who's saying this. So, yeah, that's disturbing. The hope pill is wearing off. Sad things again. Yeah, I just feel like it's important when something like this happens. It's hard to keep up on everything, and I feel like it's important to touch on what I'm seeing. And, like I said, I feel like living in real life and going through real experiences has deeply changed my perspective on like what is correct and how we should be acting and what political party means what and all that. So I feel like when these things happen, I want to be a voice that like shares them basically. Dirty coppers here in the USA, they have identifying criminals as white even when they are not white. Yes, I've seen that. It's Arabs, right? I was actually going to cover that on stream. I think that was I might have delayed that stream or something. I forget what happened, but I was going to cover that because that's right. DC police chief helped in a jailbreak for prisoners. True story. The UK police are dumb. This is why police can't be your only option for defense safety. NYC is done. Toast, kaput. Anyone living there should just leave. Prime example of why don't trust the police when you can't defend yourself. Yeah. It's pretty disturbing and crazy. Okay, I'm going to switch to this. So, basically, hold on a second. I need my other tab. I have loosely followed, like, there was some drama going on within the Eastern Orthodox and Protestant like online communities, like with David Wood and Jay Dyer and I think the guy from God Logic, and I don't follow it all very closely. It's honestly like an area that I would like to spend more time on, but just have not. But I've been wanting to like deep dive a little bit further and learn about more of the differences between Catholicism and Eastern Orthodoxy and Protestantism, and have been doing like a little bit looking into that. But there was this interview with Gavin Ortland and Jonathan Peugeot, who used to talk to Jordan Peterson a lot, and I did not watch the whole thing but kind of skipped around, and there's a section in here that I want to watch together and kind of react to. And I will say something, this is kind of relevant. I remember I told you guys a while ago that I was reading Rachel Wilson's book on feminism, and I really liked it. I didn't finish it. I wasn't that far in, but I was really liking it, and I thought it was like sounding really authentic and genuine. She was making good arguments, and her references were good for the things she was talking about, as far as like referencing different historical elements and political components of what led us to arrive at this kind of feminist society that we have right now. I've arrived at an interesting time. Howdy, hello, Mark Emke. And something that really kind of soured me that I did not like that she did pretty early on in the book. I know her and Andrew are Eastern Orthodox. And I've had some things where I've thought like, I don't know, like how I feel about like the icon veneration. I forget what they call it, like the praying to icons or worshiping. And I know like in Catholicism, I found like their whole authority structure and like what's the phrase for it? Like when the Pope speaks ex cathedra, and how they have their whole infallibility thing, and there's lots of like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to say like pagan, but like things that are like debated that are not just from the scriptures, in Eastern Orthodoxy and in Catholicism. And I think that like we should be having debates about that, and I think they're interesting things to talk about. But I did find it like a bit of a red flag that she took this really weird spin at the beginning of the book and basically tried to like say that Protestantism was responsible for feminism, and like tried to make it like a widespread Protestant thing, like back to the origin of our country, which is just not historically accurate as far as I understand. Obviously, there are Protestant churches or like non-denominational churches who have like gay leaders and are like pro LGBTQ and all of that. And like, I wouldn't argue for a second that that's pro feminism. And like, but that to me is not even Christian. Like, that's just like cosplaying Christianity and not even to be taken seriously. But I just felt like it was a very motivated line of reasoning that she stuck in there to kind of like slander Protestants as like the root of feminist ideas, and I was very off put by that. So I still like her feminist, her anti-feminist works, and like I think she does a lot of really useful like exposés on that. But I was like, that kind of like caused me to pause. So yeah, so basically that has got me like thinking a little bit more about like, well, what are these differences? What do they mean? And I've heard this too of like Eastern Orthodox people not considering Protestants as saved or like as brothers, or like considering them anathema, I think is the word. And Protestants definitely don't consider Eastern Orthodox people that way, or Catholics that way in general. Like that's not as far as I understand, that's not like the mode of being that we think that you are away from God and outside of the church and outside of the faith of Christianity if you think different things about saints or icons or like papal authority. So that was kind of like off-putting to me, because I think it just puts like this authority above logic, which just I don't think ever is a good way to think through problems. So anyhow, we're going to listen to this and kind of react to it. Let me read some of your chats first before I do that. Mary's virginity was not perpetual. That's one of the things that is up for debate, but I just don't like that they're like, so like if you don't believe that, then maybe you'll get some time to, as far as I understand, maybe you'll get some time to like work that out, but if you don't come to that belief, like we don't consider you as like one of us, like we consider you outside of the church, like akin to a Muslim or something, like I think that's problematic for the Christian movement. Mary's virginity was not perpetual. She had James, the brother of Jesus, with Joseph, the biological way. Well, this is kind of unrelated, but also related. But I remember, like, in Catholic school being taught, it was, like, the most disjointed Christian history ever, that Mary, like, got pregnant through a window with a light. And that was the explanation. There was no, like, actual explanation into, like, what God was or who Jesus was or what role her husband served. Like, it was a very weird and disjointed upbringing on that front. They would immediately jump down your throat for using the word worship in regard to icons, but it's icon veneration and a sin in the eyes of most prots. Raised Southern Baptist, the Catholics think they have authority over the Bible. That is an issue with me. I agree with that too. I think it's weird because it like puts a human like saying that they can speak for God, and that to me is just a very like red flag kind of thing. I have no problem with people trying to like interpret scripture or whatever, but to be like, no, like I can speak for God because I have the authority to speak to God for God is like a circular argument. Icon veneration is a pagan Roman practice appropriated by Constantine. Yeah, that's the vibe that I get. Pope has only spoken in ex cathedra twice in history. But like, what qualifies for when they do that? Iconography is an interesting discussion. Hold on. Common intuition that praying to anyone other than God is worship and pagan adjacent. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I was actually talking to Grok about that because I'm not super educated on this, but I was like, not super educated on this. Red flags are kind of going off about like the worshiping to icons, or I guess veneration, whatever you want to say, but you get the point. I agree, and I still like and respect Rachel and other Orthodox, but I don't think they are as infallible as they think. Nonsense. Eastern Orthodox and Roman Catholics venerate Mary's immaculate vagina. They are the feminists. Protestantism is not the root of feminist ideas. It has merely found itself to be fertile enough ground for it. I didn't mind that Andrew and Rachel are Orthodox, but the Jay Dyer drama caused me to unsub from them. I will still support them on areas of agreement, but their behavior was aberrant. Depends on the denomination. There has only been one perfect man on this earth, Jesus Christ. I'm a Catholic, but been very critical about the leftist Pope. Yeah, the Pope is very leftist, huh? He's like anti-re-immigration too. I saw something about that today. Amen. True that. If you don't agree with them, you're anathema. Yeah, I'm not liking that. Some parts of denominations are still vehemently opposed, especially in more rural areas. Wait, vehemently opposed to what, Technarchin? It puts the authority of salvation on the acts of man as opposed to the sacrifice of Christ. I love talking to you guys, chat, because you always articulate everything that I was thinking about before, but like in a much more coherent way. No, an angel told Mary she was going to have Jesus, not asked. I think EOs and RCCs are wrong, but I don't think they're wrong enough considering what else we have to deal with these days. Well, like I would consider them as part of the faith, just that they have different beliefs. Even if I thought some of it was wrong, like I thought the core, believing Jesus is God, it was died, resurrected, will redeem the world, died to save us from sin and to be our salvation. Like to me, those are the important things, and we can talk about the other things outside of scripture as like trying to figure it out. As far as I understand, those are things that have always been debated. Grok is great for theological discussions. Oh, you guys are so chatty today. I love it. I also grew up Baptist. I had moved away from all that some time ago, so this is new details, though I really stopped caring about the Wilsons several years ago. I took to the Proto-Evangelion of James for this matter. I forget the prayer. It's not the Hail Mary, but there's another Mary prayer that if you replace the name Mary with anyone else, it sounds like you're worshiping them. Oh, yeah, there is one. Is that the one that's used for the rosary? I think I know what you're talking about. Why be Roman Catholic anymore? They cannot even make up their mind over whether all religions are good or that they are the one true church. As a Catholic means nothing. Grok, yeah, I said that. Grok is the ultimate tool for everything. The denominations are slightly different in why and how to explanations of various biblical details, but ultimately it's just an interpretation. Abhorrent, Ven. Can you read, woman? Sorry. I like how you had to type out whore in there. I'm an atheist, and my friend is a Greek Orthodox, and I can get along with him and learn from his side of thinking. Yeah, I think there's lots of things to learn. But I just feel like it shuts down the conversation to be like, you're out. Like, you're out of the Christian tradition if you don't agree with us on this. Okay. The issue is they come at us for disagreeing on extra biblical issues. We don't start the fight. They literally excommunicated us. Okay, that's what I thought. The Templars believe Mary Magdalene was married to John the Baptist till he was killed, and she hooked up with Jesus. Great Y-Files episode. Oh, I feel like I've seen that before. Fun fact, I knew some really old people in the South that were chill with the KKK because while they were ambivalent toward black people, the KKK also hated Catholics, and they could get behind that. It's rarely those of us that don't believe that are the problem when it comes to being friendly. It's the religious folks who want to push it upon us that make us fail to be compatible. I've been increasingly more interested in theology, but don't want to get led down a false path. I want the truth, the God's honest truth. For Christian belief, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life as it goes. Basically, summarize it as the belief that Jesus is the only way to reach God since this resurrection. Grew up Catholic, but consider myself atheistic, although actually seeing Jesus as a good role model. I'm not sure about the details, but churches are pretty. Like, I'm agnostic. I can be convinced, but it will take more than having faith to do so. Well, see, I feel like that's the difference, though, because there's people who are, like, they consider themselves agnostic and they're open to, like, the possibility and they'll have the conversation. And there's people who are atheists and they're like both ignorant and arrogant at the same time and like won't even entertain a conversation of like what ifs. Like the kind of person that I think this was like uh a thought experiment with, oh, what's his name? The guy who's like the most quintessential British snob who debates the why can't I think of his name? Richard Dawkins. uh I think this is something I heard in a debate with him, but it doesn't really matter if it was with him because it holds regardless. Of the idea of like, if Jesus were to show himself to you, like right in front of you, like, would you believe it? Like in like full, like everything that it would mean to be real. And it's like, no, I wouldn't. Just like the idea that people are so like decidedly closed off to the possibility, I think is different than somebody who's like, well, I haven't been convinced yet, but I'm open to like conversations like that. Personally, when people say like, I had a really bad experience in life and like God appeared to me or like God showed me or God told me in a dream, like to me, like that's not convincing enough to like follow faith myself or follow religion myself. I found the historical evidence of Jesus living, dying, and resurrecting, and all of the eyewitness testimony and like listening to there's a guy, I forget his name, but he was like a detective and he did cold cases. I think his channel is called Cold Case Christianity. I forget the name of it, but just like going over like the way the cases and like the eyewitness accounts are interconnected, and like why they check out or don't check out and like how you determine that. Like to me that was the most convincing thing, aligned with like, okay, death is a really big deal, suffering is a really big deal, like how is this made sense of what fits the unique type of like particularly tailored suffering that we experience. And to me it was like a personal God with this kind of historical backing and evidence is most convincing to me. But yeah, I feel like it's, you know, it's definitely something that I appreciate when people are open to like different conversations on it instead of the atheists like shut down, like you're ridiculous for even believing that supernatural things could be real, is kind of what I'm trying to say. I yelled and argued with God a lot as a teenager due to life circumstances at the time. He didn't mind. I have better talks these days. Uh, 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 uh. Look up Pascal's wager. Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like what your bet for life is going to be, right? Like, are you going to act like there's a God, or not, and why? Uh, that's where that's where I stand. I need more than just trust me, bro, for me to be willing to give someone or something my faith in them. I also find the Shroud of Turin a really interesting piece of evidence as well. Especially, I think the most of the scientists that worked on it, if I have it correct, were like Jewish and atheist, or maybe just Jewish, and like they could not explain how this could exist in the way that it did. Like they couldn't debunk it, basically. Okay. Let's switch my yapping for a second. We're going to start listening to this. I might take a break in a few minutes, but we're going to start listening to this. We'll listen to all of this, and then we'll play some Mass Effect. So the name of this video, oops, sorry, I don't even have it up right now. There we go. Let me move this over. If you're enjoying, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell notification on whatever platform you are on. I think I got my TTS working again at the right volume as well. Hopefully all of that is checked out. Okay. This was called Salvation Outside Orthodoxy, Jonathan Pajot and Gavin Ortland dialogue. Let's listen. Hopefully the sound is, I think it should be good for you guys. Let me just check my thing. Okay.
We see the divide. Now we can give a certain classification about the stakes of this. And so I
Yes.
would like to ask my question again, which I think is a fair question, taking the issue of everlasting salvation off the table, because we Protestants, of course, agree we don't know for sure who's going to be saved. That's God's judgment. Do you currently relate to me as a Christian brother?
How can I say this? I would say that colloquially, yes, but that my prayer for you would be that you come to participate in the fullness of the life in Christ. And I think that Protestants have damaged that fullness, you know.
And as far as I understand, and you guys can tell me what your experience is, but as far as I understand, like people will sometimes say, like, yes, I still think of you as a brother, but I don't think that that's the official position. Like, I don't think that's what a church leader would tell you. And even he kind of like hedged it there as like colloquially, yes, but actually, like, I don't think that you're part of this. Even though, like I said, these things are outside of scripture, right, that are being debated. So that's interesting.
But I just want, because I do want to finish this argument, because I think it's important for people to watch, because it's very impressive.
Okay, but then we got to come back to what you just said.
We will, 100%, we will come back to that. It's very impressive to hear that for 1,000 years, the Orthodox are sending everybody who's not in ecclesial communion to hell. It's very impressive.
Not everybody. Remember, I said mostly. Remember, that's why I gave that qualification up front. I'm not claiming, as I said very clearly, I am not claiming knowledge of what every Orthodox Christian said about
Right. I like that he's saying that. He's saying like in general.
every non-Orthodox, but rather the general categorization of those outside the church, including the Catholics and the Protestants.
And so, like I said, until the St. Mark of Ephesus, until the synod of the synod of Constantinople, where now it's the very first time, since the beginning of all of this, where the church, if you want to come into communion in a Orthodox church, you have to receive chrismation. This is like the first clear gesture to say, oh no, there is an irrefutable difference between us. Because until then, that wasn't the case. Until then, if you came to an Orthodox church and you said, you know, I agree with you, you know, I think the filioque is a mistake, then they would commune you. They would simply commune you. But now, for the very first time in the 15th century, is when the difference happened. So that's very important, because we just kind of did save 600 years, like 600 years of the Orthodox sending other people to hell because they're not in ecclesial communion with them.
I don't think it does, because even during that period of time and from the beginning of it, the filioque is still classified as explicitly
It's
damnable.
classified as a heresy.
Yeah, and
heresy is a very
down into
dangerous
the
thing.
trap of hell.
All heresy.
Right. So that would be saying if you don't believe it, then you're out, then you're going to hell. Right. Unfortunately, I got to go now. It's almost 1 a.m. here. Oh my goodness. Go to bed. Goodbye, Zevelyon. Have a nice day. I studied physics, the weather, solar radiation, gravity, rotation of the earth, the sun, the oceans. I was an aerographer's mate in the Navy. The study of weather. God is very real. Oh, cool. Am true. Thank you for giving us that lore about yourself. Oh my god, it's a based wolf woman girl like person. Hello, DJ Nathaniel Skybrows Messenger. The argument there is too much order to this chaos to not be the work of God.
Is a very dangerous thing that can pull you into hell.
Oh wait, hang on a second. I want to look up something. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let's do this. Where is my thing? Sorry, guys. I just want to look up something really fast. Okay. I just wanted to look up the definition of the filioque because I always forget. It's Latin for "and the Son." Filioque is a phrase added to the Nicene Creed by the Western Church in the Middle Ages. It specifies that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father and the Son rather than from the Father alone. This single clause became one of the most significant theological and political disputes in Christian history. ultimately contributing to the schism of 1054 between Eastern and Western Christianity. The Western view asserts that the Holy Spirit proceeds eternally from both the Father and the Son as a single principle. Western theologians argue this emphasizes the co-equality and mutual love of the Father and the Son. The Eastern Orthodox view maintains that the Father is the sole singular origin of the Godhead. Orthodox theologians argue that the filioque compromises the monarchy of the Father and makes the Spirit subordinate within the Trinity. I don't really have a problem that they think that, but it is weird that they think you're going to hell if you don't think that. You know? Hello, I'm new here. What are we talking about? We're talking about salvation outside of Eastern Orthodoxy and reacting to this, and what Eastern Orthodoxy wants people to believe, or else they think they're going to hell, generally. If everyone thinks heaven is just a resting place after death, is very wrong. We will still have purpose and jobs to do. Bet. Oh, sweet. Parachute rigger here was in VFA 86, CAG 1, USS Enterprise. And all these three are one. Let me tell you who Jesus is. He's the rock of all ages. He's the Alpha and Omega. He's the Heavenly Father. I'm not following. Oh, you're responding to someone cosmic. Kick chat not showing up anymore. What the heck? Why? Where is our kick chat? Hang on. Let's make sure it's here. Okay, kick is connected. We're going to test it. Testing. Did that work? Wait, did that not work? Testing? Why is the kick chat not working? What the heck? Rip kick chat. Is kick not up? Uh-oh. What? Weird. It's working on here. Sometimes this thing gets really weird. I don't know why. Sorry if kick chat is pooping itself. I don't think I can reconnect it. I've used a streamer bot, and so it pulls from all the sources, and so to me it looks like kick is connected, but if I disconnect it and reconnect it, then it's gonna close down the stream. I don't know why. I did much typing on kick and now I am Sag. Sorry, that's so weird. Okay. Anywho, let's keep listening.
Hell, of course it is. Don't you think that?
Of course.
But, wait, hold on. I missed that. 37:26. Let's just go right back to here. Sorry.
It's a mistake. Then they would commune you. They would simply commune you. But now, for the very first time in the 15th century, is when the difference happened. So that's very important, because we just kind of did save 600 years, like 600 years of the Orthodox sending other people to hell because they're not in ecclesial communion with them.
I don't think it does, because even during that period of time and from the beginning of it, the filioque is still classified as explicitly
classified as a heresy.
Right.
Yeah. And
heresy is a very dangerous thing.
Trap of hell.
All heresy is a very dangerous thing that can pull you into hell. Of course it is. Don't you think that?
Of course. But I don't think the filioque is heresy, and I don't think that issue... The
right,
issue
and
here
like Protestants don't think that... as far as I understand, right, I'm not like not speaking for all Protestants, but as far as I understand about the general situation here, like Protestants wouldn't say that Eastern Orthodox people are in a heresy for the way they think about the Trinity, but Eastern Orthodox people would say that Protestants and Catholics are.
An institutional exclusivism. What you're drawing attention to is on the ground complexities in the application of those first several hundred years.
Have to do with
Hold on, you're interrupting again. If I could just finish the sentence, then you can jump in. Not the classification as such. I think the fact that clarity emerges once the dust has settled furthers my point. That is how that position... My concern is not, oh, there was some exceptional complexity in the fallout of this on the street level. My concern is, right now, as of this moment, you hesitate and say, colloquially, I can call you my brother in Christ. I'm trying to look at the genealogy of that, where that came from. I think when that comes clearest for the Orthodox Protestant relationship and the Synod of Jerusalem is fair to look back to and say, okay, that's the concern. Because
right.
I don't think anybody at the Synod of Jerusalem would have recognized your answer that colloquially, I am a Christian, but there's some
Right.
concern about fullness. I think their language, and I do agree we should look at the text, was more absolute than that.
Yeah. All right. So I'm happy that we're at least in the 17th century, because then that gives us, 300 years of supposedly of us sending everybody who's not Orthodox into hell. But so let's look at. I mean, I think it's a good idea to look at the Synod of Jerusalem, and so I'm going to do something because, and you can tell me after. I want to read something that you wrote before we get into the Synod of Jerusalem. All right.
Hello, Kage. Welcome.
And we'll just leave it as a respectful disagreement about how to categorize that earlier time period. We don't have to solve that now. I will, because I'm reading a book about it right now. At some point, I will put out a video just on the 9th century and say more about that in another context.
Yeah. All right. So let's read. So this is a text you wrote in 2009.
2009?
Got it from your blog.
Dude, right? I was like a 23-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was funny because I was looking for some text, and it was the first thing that Google gave me, and I didn't even ask for you. So I thought this is a nice sign that I should read this. And so in it, you say, Luther, like Calvin, believed in a strong and unflinching doctrine of double predestination. God has eternally decreed some to everlasting life and others to everlasting death, to the praise of his glorious grace and justice. He calls this doctrine strong wine and solid food for the strong. Then you go through how this is to the glory of God. And at the end, you say...
For Luther.
Yeah, and then you say, finally, Luther's pastoral advice to those struggling with doubts about their election is telling. To weaker Christian, he says, thank God for your torments. They are evidence that God's grace is at work in your heart. And to stronger Christians, Luther encourages them to resign themselves to hell if God wills this. In other words, to so love the glory of God.
Oh, this is actually a super interesting debate. I don't know if you guys have heard this before about, like, I'm probably going to do a butchering job of summing it up, but like the role of free will and who goes to hell, and like if you're destined to go to hell, like do you trust God that you're supposed to go to hell? I think that's kind of what they're getting into here. Ultimately, in my opinion, I believe you've landed on an answer worth having when you feel comfortable in your belief. It's hard to describe, but how you feel holds more weight, in my opinion, than anything someone else can tell you. Of course, I'm telling this to you as well. So again, you get to choose. Religious views can be complicated, but we can all be respectful. Double predestination is heresy. Imagine going back to 2009 to pick this out for a debate on whether or not the Orthodox Church renders outsiders anathema. I didn't think that was a little weird. Why did he post something from 2009?
As to be content to be damned, if only it would further the glory of God. Wow, I find this emphasis on the radical centrality of the glory of God gripping. I do not claim to have it mastered, but I want to see more of it. This is strong wine indeed. And so this what you describe, this is what a lot of the Synod of Jerusalem is reacting to. And in fact, the Synod of Jerusalem repeats several times in the Synod very strong.
Hold on, I wanted to just look up this. And then I am Southern Baptist Protestant. Thank you, God. Look at Gavin's face. He's baffled at the bad faith. His face is funny. Interesting, he mentions 300 years of the Orthodox Church sending people to hell. I'm unfamiliar with many Orthodox beliefs. Do Orthodox believe they have control over who goes to hell? Or was that just tongue-in-cheek? Teddy Grizz, I think what he's saying is 300 years of the Orthodox Church saying that if people don't believe in, or if people believe in the Filioque, then they consider them as going to hell. Like they consider them outside of the church, as away from God, and therefore going to hell. I don't think they think that they're controlling who they send to hell. I just think that they think that they're going to hell if they don't hold the same belief on the Trinity as they do. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. I wanted to look up this. double predestination. Double predestination is the theological belief that God actively predestines some individuals to salvation and others to eternal damnation, the elect and the reprobate. It hinges on the idea that an all-knowing sovereign God orchestrates human destinies entirely apart from any human merit or choice. Rooted in the teachings of John Calvinist, it's typically broken down into two components. Active election, God unconditionally chooses specific individuals to receive his grace and be saved. Reprobation, God's decision to pass over the non-elect, leaving them in their sins and ordaining their condemnation. Calvinists generally emphasize that God does not force people to sin, rather he withholds salvific grace, meaning the reprobate are condemned justly for the sins they freely commit. This is just a Reddit discussion after this. Outside of their church, it's because ecclesiarchical structures define you as orthodox to them or heretical to them. Thus, if you are heretical, you are hellbound. Okay, so not that they are actually in control of it, just that they believe those people will be going to hell based on their beliefs. Gotcha, thank you. I don't believe Jesus Christ wanted organized religion. We are all supposed to, priests, men and women of God, working together to further the good news. Double predestination is heresy. You are saved by choosing Jesus, not because God in the past chose you. I think I don't think of it that way. Like, I think about this like if God is God and all seeing and all knowing, and you know, like the creator of everything, then I don't see why your free will isn't compatible with God already knowing where you're going. You know what I'm saying? Like, couldn't God see your whole path and the choices you're making and decide not to intervene because you are being so sinful on purpose and therefore like you're condemned to hell, but it's like still through your free will, but God is like top down looking at the situation and created everything to be the way it is, but it's like also respecting of what you would ultimately want, like that some people could want to be in hell. I don't know, it's like a little confusing to think about, but I don't think that it necessarily has to be a heresy. God lives in the past, the now, and the future. Okay.
Strongly that God loves all men, that God desires the salvation of all men, and that when they criticize and when they anathemize this type of doctrine, they do it repeating in the council several times that it is because God wills the salvation of all. So let me read from the Synod of Jerusalem.
And go ahead, and then I'll respond to this point about my old blog
But then
post.
to affirm that the divine will is thus solely and without cause the author of their condemnation, what greater calumny can be fixed upon God? And what greater injury and blasphemy can be offered to the Most High? For that the deity is not tempted with evils, and that he equally wills the salvation of all. Since there is no respect of persons with him, we do know, and that for those who through their own wicked choice and their impenitent heart have become vessels of dishonor, there is, as is just, decreed condemnation, we do confess. But of eternal punishment, of cruelty, of pitilessness, of inhumanity, we never, never say God is the author who tells us that there's joy in heaven for every one sinner that repents. Far be it from us, while we have our senses, thus to believe or to think, and we do subject to an eternal anathema those who say and think such things, and esteem them to be worse than any infidels. And so they do anathemize. And I'll be honest, and I just want to say one last thing, Gavin, is that God that you describe, a God whose glory increases through the decree of conscious eternal punishment of the creatures that he made in his image. That is the God that I fled when I left.
I didn't think that was what Gavin was saying in that.
The Baptist Church. And the God that loves all men and the God that wants all men to be saved and does everything he can to join them to his love and his glory, that is the God that I found in the Eastern Orthodox Church. And so when I hear you talk about how we're exclusivists, and I read the fathers and I see that, yes, they say this is how you're saved. This is the normative way you're saved. And if you have heresy, you are in danger of damnation. You are in danger of hell. But they do it always to preserve that God wants all men to be saved, and not just Christians, and not just, he wants all of creation to be part of his life.
So I guess he's trying to flip it on him here to say that they're not hypocritical, or not hypocritical, that it's not a problem that they say if you don't agree with them, then you're like outside of the church. So he's trying to say that Gavin is saying something worse, saying that some people will go to hell by their own free will, and that like it's good for the sinful to be punished, I think is what he's saying here.
And so that is why I think that the Synod of Jerusalem has such strong language.
Okay. Well, I gave you a chance there to unfold your thoughts. Could I respond in kind?
Sure.
Okay. So first of all, I find it a little strange to go back to that old blog summary. I was in my 20s in seminary, and I was just summarizing a passage about Luther. I wasn't stating my views. I was saying, wow, this is really interesting. There was an expostulation of Luther's thought. So I don't know, and actually Calvinism.
Is it an
general,
appropriate expostulation of Luther's thought? Do you think that it's that because even though whether you believe it or not,
I think so,
that there are people that
go
do
back
believe
to be
that,
sure.
right? You know that there are
so.
people who believe that.
Oh yeah, no, I think it is, and I want to go back just to be sure. Again, it's been 20 years or almost 20, but just to finish, because the reason I asked if I could respond in kind is because I want to get a couple things out here. I think you just said something that touched my heart a moment ago, and you said this is the God you left and the God you found in Orthodoxy. I think you and I might find some common ground in what you're getting into there. I also don't want a God who's a monster, but here's the thing. I could agree with everything you said about Calvinism for the sake of argument, because I don't think the Synod of Jerusalem, although it's occasioned by that issue among others, Cyril Lucaris had a lot in his confession that was not just about that. The Synod of Jerusalem is lengthy. It targets like 25 different Protestant beliefs. And my concerns, my interest in it are specifically on how it categorizes Protestants as people. So I could concede everything you're saying about Calvinism, and that wouldn't really address my worry, which is what is this, which is a universally received synod. I've argued this is dogmatically binding for Orthodox. I had one person who's ever pushed back on that, and I've gone to John Meyendorff and others who categorize this in the same way. This is a significant...
Yeah, it almost seemed like what Joe was saying here was kind of talking past the issue that Gavin was taking.
Testimony. I think it's fair for me, when I'm hearing different opinions from contemporary Orthodox Christians, to go to the universally received synod that's explicitly dealing with Protestant theology. And I would like to point to the passages that I'm actually talking about. They have nothing to do with Calvinism. They have to do with Protestants as a class of people, many of whom, of course, are not Calvinists. So I'd like to work through those passages and explain why I find this so grievous, and see if since you've raised a concern that I'm, giving this sort of Protestant text-based approach to these things, I think the least you can do is be willing to give an alternative approach to them and say how you read this synod and these particular sentences I'd like to work through.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the categorization of Protestants in the Synod of Jerusalem is as wicked heretics. They are said to be forsaken by the Holy Spirit. They have only darkness and blindness. They are not Christians and not churches, according to Decree 10.
Dizzy, what do you mean by that? I think you said the other day that Protestants aren't people, but that's kind of like a loaded claim. So could you share what you mean by that?
Because they're outside of the bishop, and the bishop is a canonical Eastern Orthodox bishop. And the
Protestants are basically proto-woke. What do you mean by that in general, though? Because, I grant that there's churches that are woke, right? But, not all Protestant churches are woke. most Protestant churches, like the vast majority, are just grounded in scripture and focused on Jesus dying, living, dying, being resurrected, and being God. So what part of the way Protestants practice is proto-woke?
Whole, that language is not eccentric or a high note in it. It's recurrent. And the whole concluding appeal to the
Gavin has an unfortunately affinity for leftist sensibilities. Well, I know that Gavin leans that way, but just like on his actual scripture views, is what we're talking about right now. Block Dizzy. No, don't block Dizzy. We do free speech here, Caleb. And Dizzy's an OG. She just has her unique opinions.
the final few sentences is a warning that these who stay outside of the church and do not enter the church will be overtaken by the pains of the heathens and publicans. Now that's from Matthew 18. That language is also occurs earlier in the synod, which is in reference to, I believe, hell. Now, when I talk about hell, let me say a word about this. I understand the doctrine of hell can be stated in ways that make God seem like a monster, but we all have to deal. I think it can be defended against that too. Hell is a part of Christian theology. Hell is spoken of by our Lord. It's got to be understood in some kind of way. And when I'm reading these texts in the Synod of Jerusalem about the Protestants, and it is speaking in this way, not Christians be overtaken by the pains of the heathens and the publicans, that, as I say, Matthew 18.
Right.
I don't see any qualifications to this or anywhere else at that time. And so what I don't see the Synod of Jerusalem saying is, well, Eastern Orthodoxy is just where we know salvation happens, but we're not passing judgment on the Protestants. I see this as different. That's why
Right. I think that's the whole issue he's trying to bring up here, is it's not just a saying we disagree or, we think they might be wrong or whatever. It's like you're going to hell if you don't believe our interpretation of these things.
Pointing the change out. And I will say there is a frustration in being told I'm being disingenuous or misunderstanding deliberately when no one is coming along and saying, well, actually, let me give an alternative gloss to the pains of the heathens and the publicans. Or I suspect where we'll come down to is you'll probably just want to say, well, this is for normative language, but doesn't deny that Protestants can be saved or something like this. And what I would say is, can you show me anything at the Synod itself? Can you document that's actually a distinction they could have recognized, because they themselves do not qualify this absolute language? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's because it's a synod. The purpose of the synod is to declare that which is true and that which is false. The purpose of a synod is not to talk about the individuals that would make up a group or the individual virtue or values. Are there to deal with teachings and to give warnings about those teachings and to give warnings about if you follow those teachings, if you attach yourself to those errors, if you believe in a God that decrees for people to, let's say, burn eternally in hell for his own glory, that this will lead you into death. Like, this is a dangerous belief that has consequences and will have consequences in your life and will be an obstacle to your transformation. Like, it will have an effect on you. And that's what the synod is saying. It's saying that if you hold on to these heretical beliefs,
I'm just reading through some of the chat to decide which ones I want to read. I saw Caleb's question to Dizzy. While vulgar, I'm totally okay with the literalness that you're conveying, Caleb. Dizzy, Protestants basically said screw dogma, who do whatever the fuck we want as long as we somehow misinterpret the Bible in a way that justifies it, and that's how they end up lesbian trans priests. Okay, but like, that's not really a steelman of what Protestants believe at all, because Protestants are like sola scriptura, like they're anchored in the text, right? Like, that's the real Protestant center belief, if I'm understanding correctly. And yes, like, anti-dogma, anti-following like tradition for the sake of tradition or, you know, ritual for the sake of ritual. But I don't like, there definitely isn't anything more than a minority of lesbian trans priests. So I feel like it's kind of dishonest to frame it like that's the general way that Protestants are. I'm not really sure how we land there. Thank you for the follow. 1 times 1 times 1 underscore 82647. Hi, hello. You think us Protestants want to tolerate that crap? Society won't let us Christians deal with our own problems properly. Dizzy is strawmanning, which is pitiful. Yes, I like you being part of our community, Dizzy, but I definitely think that's a bad argument. Orthodoxy had ecumenical gatherings so they could clarify details of the book in generally agreed and authoritative manner. Okay, but like, I don't understand why within like the broader conversation we're having here, I don't understand why these details that aren't spelled out in the Bible can't be open for debate without one side saying the other side is definitively outside the church and basically going to hell for it. Like, I don't think that I wouldn't say that Eastern Orthodox people are necessarily going to hell because they have a different view on venerating icons than I do, even though I don't think that that is the correct interpretation. Guardian, hey Venna, hello. They claim to be anchored in the text, but when you ask them about John 6, they can't justify that stance and put words in Jesus's mouth. There is a counterbalance between the ecclesiarchal structures and more federalized ones, like what you see in a lot of American-style Protestantism. Hang on a second. All right. I'm gonna look this up later off stream just because I'm getting like too into the Google search here. But when you're talking about, when you are talking about filthy casual, when you're talking about John 6, and they can't justify that stance and put words in Jesus's mouth, what are you referencing? John 6, what verse in John 6 specifically? Because then I can look that up. Okay, let's keep listening.
And these heretical practices, then you are in danger. And that is absolutely true. And that is absolutely true that the people, but that again, that is the function of a synod. But that doesn't mean that, again, that, so a good example would be that in exactly in the 17th century, 18th century, there are all these practices. There is still this idea, you mentioned, for example, St. Mark of, when I talked about how in the early church, there's this idea of that St. Gregory the Great prayed for the Emperor Trajan and that he was released from hell. And I remember in your video you said, you can't use that because it's before the 9th century, right?
You can use it. It doesn't disrupt the particular thesis about the 9th or 19th.
So what's interesting is that, like, St. Mark of Ephesus, who you mentioned as being one of the people that has that arc language, he uses that example.
Yes.
When he's arguing against the idea of purgatory, he says, when we pray, we can that there are even examples of saints that pray for the heathen and that they are released from hell. And he says, in the way that Christ prayed for his enemies, which is a beautiful image, because obviously Christ, when he's asked God he prayed how Christ prayed for those that crucified him. Because when Christ prays for those that crucified him, obviously he knew that these people wouldn't necessarily believe in him, but that he's nonetheless praying for that God forgives them, even though he knows that they won't probably repent. So in that...
Okay, I'm actually going to pause it here and take a super quick break and then come back. I think I've got like 10-ish more minutes that I wanted to watch of this or so, and then we'll do some Mass Effect. Okay. I will BRB.
They try to paint her line by line, make the perfect form divine, but she's a glitch, a beautiful mess, causing digital distress. Nautic sighs. Yeah, Venatrix cries. Venatrix in the chat, neon eyes on glow. Big bad wolf, VT feet on flow. Avatar sharp, got the crowd on lock. Every bar silver fang when I chomp that talk. They twist my words, try to spin that thread, but I bite through cap, lead the lies half dead. I don't chase cloud, I just chase that truth. Mic check, muzzle off, I'm the young cage proof. Timeline twitching when I drop my views, cause I don't bow down, I just break fake news. They gaslight ghosts, right, sell that spin, but my pack see clear, we were born to win. Venatrix in the chat, neon eyes on glow. Big bad wolf, VT feet on flow. Avatar sharp, got the crowd on lock. Every bar silver flame when I chomp that talk. They twist my words, try to spin that thread, but I bite through cap, leave the lies half dead. I don't chase cloud, I just chase that truth. Mic check, muzzle off, I'm the young cage proof. Timeline twitching when I drop my views, cause I don't bow down, I just break fake news. They gaslight ghosts, right, sell that spin, but my pack see clear, we were born to win. I'm the wolf on stream, Venatrix online. Hardcore takes when I lay that line. You can lie all day, but the fog won't stay. Every fake little flame gonna burn away. I howl that fact, let the echoes fly. All the gaslit games always fade and die. When the teeth hit truth and the light hits sky, all the noise falls quiet when the wolf walks by. I'm the glitch in the script, break the prefab lies. No puppet on a string, I retract those ties. They frame that narrative, call it just a joke, but it smells like fear when illusion gets smoked. You can clip that scream, twist context again. Still the real shine bright through the pixels and skin. I'm a beast with receipts loaded up on file. Put the mask on blast with a savage smile. I'm the late night raid on the false front page. Every bar that I drop break a gilded cage. From the back of the pack to the alpha stance. When I spit whole scene, get a second glance. I'm the wolf on stream, Venatrix online. Hardcore takes when I lay that line. You can lie all day, but the fog won't stay. Every fake little flame gonna burn away. I howl that back, let the echoes fly. All the gaslit games always fade and die. When the teeth hit truth and the light hits sky, all the noise falls quiet when the wolf walks by. No script, no leash, no PR chain. Just a lone dark wolf in the day to rain. They can smear my name, I don't break, I climb. Cause the real don't ride, only frauds lose time. I'm the wolf on stream, Venatrix online. Hardcore takes when I lay that line. You can lie all day, but the fog won't stay. Every fake little flame gonna burn away. I howl that fake, let the echoes fly. On the bricks in the feet, let the myth unwind. When the wolf speaks up, watch the lights flatline. Always laser focus, wolf eye sharp on the prowl, smelling the tracks. Wolfpack forever. Venatrix rules forever.
Okay, I'm back. I actually think I'm gonna stop it here on this video. I just feel like I kind of got to the discussion I wanted to get into, and I think we could all use some gaming time. Seems like it sparked quite the spicy discussions, set of discussions in chat, so that's great. Okay, I am going to switch to some Mass Effect. I think last time, where even was I? I think I got stuck on something. And Pharos, I think is where we are. So yeah, we'll switch to that. Oh, I wanted to say I pinned a message about my super chats, tips, whatever, doing TTS. Just because I was like debating even like ever having that in chat again, because I don't like when it's like pushy, and I just love that you guys are here chatting and watching, but sometimes people do ask me where the link is, and it's like hard to find it for TTS and all that. So yeah, I was gonna hang out there for a little bit. Okay, let's switch, resume. And then we'll pop the game over onto my other screen in just a second. Okay. I wonder what time it is for all you guys. It's about 4:30 for me, and I was talking to people on Discord yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning for them. So I do wonder where you guys are watching from, what time it is for you. I can like see on my creator end of like what time what time my audience is online at, but I don't think I'm like totally overlapping with that perfectly. Let's see. Okay. Perfect. And now we have our special chat on top. All right, let me switch. Believe it or not, Mass Effect is what got me thinking about religion a bit more and pushed me toward agnostic beliefs instead of atheist when I was younger. 7:30 US East Coast, 5:30. Oh, so you're probably more like Central. America time, best time. Oh, 35. Okay, let's move this down. Chat is going to fly across that banner. Yeah, it is. It's going to be really long. Sorry. Look at this blood match on YouTube, chat. Be nice to everyone, kids, okay? Okay. Where is my mouse? I hate when it disappears. Okay. I think we're on Pharos. I think there's a way I have to get through this Bathinga. The what's it called? The blocked off, the shields or whatevs. Head of Vermeer. No, not yet. We're not doing that yet. Destroy the Geth ship claws. The Geth ship claws are too large to disable with conventional weapons. Find the Geth ship's primary claw and figure out a way to destroy it. Okay. Let's check our map. Where is the Geth ship, though? Okay. Hold on a second. I need to pull up my my GPS for this game. Hold on. Wait a second. Okay. All right. I feel like we had to get through these doors first, and then we can do that. Bernie meme, I'm once again asking if there is a place I can access your BRB songs. Oh! Sorry, Teddy Grizz. I must have missed if you asked that before. Yeah, they're buried deep in the Discord music channel. If you, I can probably resend them because I saved them on my computer for the loop. So I can also resend them into the music channel. But I think if you like search Dober King or virtuals posts in the music, then you probably will be able to find it, maybe. To destroy the guest ship claws, the primary claw holding the drop ship in Pharos and Mass Effect 1. Okay, thanks for telling me that. Clear the area, fight through the Geth, including the 2 worshipping the glowing orb on a lower level, sneak along the upper catwalk for a good vantage point to take them out, find the hydraulics console. Okay, but where are they? To the Geth ship. Okay. On the Pharos map, the Geth ship claws primary claw located inside the Exogeny facility upper levels. Oh, okay. After you've entered from Zeus Hope. So I think the Exogeny facility is right here, actually. No, Exogeny approach. Is that where it is? Oh. Let's see. Upper level. I think I'm in here already. No? Yes? Sorry, guys. I'm not best at reading these maps. We're figuring it out. Where it says Exogeny approach. Don't want to go backwards or anything. Great. Okay, I got it. Finish driving along the Exogeny approach. You'll enter the Exogeny main level. Wait, no, that's where I am. Progress through the main level fights until you find stairs or a path leading to the Exogeny upper level. Isn't that where I am? Because I think I'm okay. All right, hold on. Good evening, Van. Hello, Hideki. Where's the upper level? Upper level? I think that's where we should go. Yeah? Yeah. Let us go to the upper level. But the problem might be, well, that looks right. What the heck? Guys, I don't know why this is messing me up so bad. Did you receive the tax, Venatrix? Wait, what do you mean by the tax? The tax? What you mean by the tax? Ace of Spades. Did you receive the tax? The tax? Hold on. I'm figuring something. No, why did this not show me this? Hold on. Here's your Venatrix, Venatrix. Ah, why didn't it work? Sorry, Ace of Spades. Let's see if this fixes.
Ace Zero Spades tipped $15. Here is your Venatrix, Venatrix.
Thank you for my Venatrix, Ace of Spades. That's very nice. I appreciate you. No, I think I was on the other menu, so sorry that I missed that. Hopefully it triggered the first time and was loud enough that time. Put tax on the teacher's chair. Understood. Wait, did the TTS sound loud enough to you guys? I try to make it loud enough that it's loud, but not like too loud, you know? Okay. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. You'll enter the Exogeny blah, 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 blah. On the upper level, you'll reach the big room with the Geth dropship claw. I feel like I missed that. Also, update, Ace of Spades, I ordered the Lego set, like I told you guys, and it was delayed, but it has been shipped. So whenever it arrives, then we'll make that stream a hand cam stream setting up the Lego set, which will be fun. How do I put this away? What the heck? This doesn't seem correct. What does this say? Shuttle bay door controls? No. Main level, upper level. This is a dead end. I think this is the wrong way. Frick! Lego Vena. Also, Ace of Spades W. Yeah, such a good idea. I almost thought that, Zevelyon, you said Ace of Space. Ace of Spaces W, and for a second I was like, is his name actually Ace of Spaces and I've been saying it the wrong way the whole time? But no, it's not. I thought not. Can I go up here? No. Maybe up here would be better. We can judge your Lego building skills. Better be ready. I have built Legos before, but just not for myself. Like, I've helped other, like, kids at school build Legos, you know? Were they complicated Lego sets? As complicated as the one that I ordered? Maybe not, but I think I'll figure it out. I hope. Ah, this is not going well. Fuck. Okay, we're just doing the Omni Gel, sorry. Okay. What's over here, Liara Tassoni? Oh, perfect. Thank you. What a smarty pants. Okay, we need to use our other powers, huh? Let's use yellow. Wait, let's move up a little bit. Let's use... Fuck you. That's not what I wanted to use, but okay, it works. I need a grenade. The wolf is distracted. I am distracted. I'm somebody who likes calm spaces without lots of things to do at once, so that's why I stream and read the chat and play a game and talk about politics all at once. It's like a sensory challenge. Okay. What's all this? I don't hear the game. Is that just me? Oh, can you not hear the game? Guys? No, I think that's right. Let me turn the game up. How's that? Can you hear it now? For some reason the game sound was muted. Thanks for telling me though. Do we tell her about the scuff? Yes, tell me about the scuff. My stupid TTS I couldn't hear, and then also the game. But you should be able to hear it now. You hear it? You hear it? Can you read this? Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear that? Average description. Okay, is it too loud though, or is it suitable? Gosh, you ever just feel like your reflexes are just not working? Okay, it worked. The test samples were due to arrive 3 days ago, but we haven't heard anything from the colony or the cargo vessel. We suspect the samples became volatile and recommend cutting off all further contact with the Nodacrux colony. Oh, guys, hold on. I didn't change my thing. I'm being a bad VTuber. Hold on. I'm not VTubing the VTubing way. I need to change this to Mass Effect 1. Okay. I did it! I updated my categories. I always forget to do that. At least you didn't react live on stream to a music video and not notice the music was muted on stream until after the song ended like I did. Wait, that's actually like the most relatable scuff I've ever read, Teddy Grizz. Because I feel like chat sometimes is too nice and they're just like going along with it, thinking that you know what you're doing. And like, I have no idea what I'm doing half of the time. YouTube still delayed. Uh-oh, I don't know why that's the case. Moving your triangle across the path for hacking must be similar to driving, and since you can't drive, that must be the reason your hacking skills need work. Probably. I was too busy yapping to notice. Shrug. Yeah, I feel like that happens. I feel like I'd like to be a locksmith. How do you train for that? That seems like a chill job. Just like go around unlocking. Everybody probably likes you because you fix their problems when you unlock their doors and everything, right? And I feel like you'd feel like so cool with your special skill set. We will have to keep looking. Okay, fine. Don't be a locksmith. Why not? What was your favorite Lego set as a kid? I actually didn't really play with Legos as a kid. I bought Legos like for school, like for my classes before. What's my like? How would I even answer that? I feel like I didn't have my own Lego sets, but I feel like I would like the ones where you have to build like palaces or like a castle or something like that, you know, like almost like Sims like home building, but like an epic like medieval castle or something like that. 90% of lockpicking in modern day is slim jimming locked cars. Sounds profitable. To be clear, I'm not a locksmith, just a hobbyist lockpicker courtesy of Bill and LPL. Is it hard though? Don't be a locksmith, everyone comes to you. But I feel like that'd be good. Like, you probably would have a lot of business, no? Not at all? Where's that sneaky little frog guy? I hate him. Let's use lift. Lift? Use lift. Fuck that guy. Bye-bye. I probably should switch weapons. I'm always using this one, but I should be sniping. I should be sneeping. Can I not? Can I not sneep? Oh, I can sneep. I will sneep you. Oh, I will not sneep you. I need a grenade. Oh, great. Okay. That was like the one time I had one. Bye. Is it too loud for you guys?
Seems like a containment lab in the settings command. It may be helpful if we can dislodge even one claw of the ship.
Oh, that was a totally accidental shot, to be honest. For $60 to unlock a truck that takes 4 minutes, easy money. Ooh, maybe I should become a locksmith. Wednesday stream, says Microcosmic Guy. Fuck, I lost my window. 90% of locks can be opened with nothing more than a piece of soda can. What classes do you teach, Ven? I usually don't say too many specifics for fear of like doxing myself, but I have taught like almost all of the core subjects at one point or another. I probably would enjoy teaching like STEM-y kind of play-based like science or art or like arts and crafts if I could choose what I enjoy the most. Beware the Sneeper. Yeah, the Lego City sets, exactly. For $60, I already read that. I also had an Indiana Jones one based on Crystal Skull. It was essentially the vehicle with saw blades on the front that the Russians used. Yeah, the problem with locksmithing is that everyone only ever sees you poke a lock open in a matter of minutes and is almost always in a position where they're gonna hate having to pay you. Yeah, but like, to be fair, you know, if it's that easy, then they should just do it themselves, but they can't. They need a locksmith, so I feel like you should respect it, is what I would say. Actually picking is generally pretty easy once you get a feel for how the internals of a lock click. I wish I got to try out more Lego City sets. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. She remembered the powers, making me proud. Only took like playing 5 times with you guys saying that. Sorry, I'm not trying to shoot. I'm trying to click back into my windows because I'm clicking out to scroll down for chat because I was scrolled up. Sensei Ven. Depends on the soda can. I just built the Lego Snoopy set. Oh yeah, you showed us your cute Lego Snoopy set. I don't trust this Cerberus group. They may pay us well, but if this gets out before we've developed an antidote, it's just not smart. They won't tell us what they want the samples for or why they wanted them delivered to the Montano system. My records show nothing of interest out here. Well, well, well. Do I need to go here? You find a repair ticket attached to the console. The damn door to the shuttle bay is fried again. Works fine if the PSI is 30 or lower, but the safety shutoff kicks in if the PSI gets above 34. But if the PSI is in the 31-34 zone, the door slams down with enough power to shear through a metal I-beam. Somebody fix this before one of my team loses an arm in that thing. I also used to play a lot with army men back in the day. Oh, I've played with those before, but that was like with my cousins. I don't really have my own army men. Would use them in combination with blocks and do all kinds of military battles. Electric rakes can act as a universal key for most locks and are fairly cheap. Wait, no way. Also, a master lock can be opened with another master lock. Guys, I seriously do want to become a... Oh, it's a pattern. Hold on. I remember this. There's a pattern. I'm looking it up. Sorry, we're not going to spend 20 minutes doing this like last time. I blame the Protestants for Shepherd's lack of posterior. What are you trying to say there, Dizzy? Pattern game. Yeah, we can't do that again. Read the note. Optional but helpful. Yeah, I did. Okay. Here's exactly how to do the toggle valve pressure puzzle so you don't spend 30 minutes sitting here and look like a dumb wolf. The clips of the struggle. There are several numbered button valves you can toggle on or off. I mean, what do people do before Grok? I really don't know. Each one adds a specific PSI value and activate it. Oh, so you could probably blow it up by accident. You can turn them on in any order. The best combinations are 5, 11, 17, 13. Or 7, 11, 13, 31. What? Activate exactly those 3. Leave the others off. 5, 11, 17. 5, 11, 17. 5, 11, 17. Yeah? Wait, and then what? I did it. And then what? 5, 11, 17. Once the pressure meter is in the green high zone, use the main console controls to close the... Oh, yeah. Okay. It says high pressure, but we're going to risk it. I think it's okay. Before Grok, people use game FAQs mostly. Oh, yeah. Or Neo Seeker. Shepherd's cake is for diabetics. It's like a flourless cake. It's actually really not that bad of a bite. It's just more toned than voluminous, you know?
Well done. Our way out should be clear now. We can go address this thorian issue.
This thorian issue.
Keep your guard up. There still might be a few Geth inside the base.
Gork, is this true?
Shore party. Are you reading? Anyone there? Normandy to shore party. Come on, Commander. Talk to me.
Joker?
Is that you, Joker? What's going on over there?
We're in lockdown here, Commander. Something happened to the colonists.
What happened?
Hanging on the hull, trying to claw their way inside the ship. They're freaking out.
What's going on? Hold on a second. Okay. I just feel like my thing is too low. I know what I need to do. Okay. Let's do that. And that. Alright. We're in lockdown here, Commander. Something happened to the colonists. They're banging on the hull, trying to claw their way inside the ship. They're freaking out. Okay, sit tight.
Can't do any real damage. We're on our way back. Just hold your position.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll just wait right here for you, Commander.
Everyone, stay
This
close.
place will be crawling with Geth in a minute. Keep together and we'll get out of here in one piece.
Okay. Wait, so what do we need to do now? You have destroyed the Geth ship. Now get Elizabeth Bainham and leave Exo Jenny. Okay, let's go, guys. Does that go downstairs? Yes. Okay, I think we know where to go. Sad real life calls. Have a great rest of your stream, then. Bye, Teddy Grizz. Thanks for being here. It's a conspiracy of the Voluminati. It's true. Oh. Okay, where am I going? What am I doing? Who am I? What is a VTuber? I do have to report my nervousness about streaming has gotten better. I know that I just ran up and around and down again. That's not where I was supposed to go. Because every time I would try to stream, like I thought I was going to not even do streaming. I thought I was going to do full videos, which is a funny joke. I would feel so nervous before stream. But luckily, I can report the more that I have done it, the less nervous I have gotten. What? There's like a secret hidden thing. Yeah? Yeah. Anxiety woes. Yeah. I need a pee. I actually don't need a pee for once. This looks like that edible gold flake on the wall. Have you guys ever had that? What's it called? Like on fancy food and restaurants, there's a like gold foil that you it's like wrapped on desserts and stuff. I feel like it looks like that. For one, sounds like you need more hydration. No, I mean I always have to pee because I am always drinking like a ton of water and like electrolytes during stream. When are you gonna play the scary games? Oh, you know, just 5 years from now when I finally get through Mass Effect. I'm gonna be playing something super fun on Saturday. If you guys are around. Gonna be doing a collab and playing some Space Marine, which should be very fun. Didn't I just come from this way? Drink more water, Wolf. No, I'm saying I drink too much water. What the heck? What is this? This be wrong. I've been playing the hell out of Space Marine lately. I played one mission and it was actually super, super fun. I was like, I really wanted a girl character. I know, very feminist of me. But I don't want like Space Marine to be like feminized or anything. I just wanted like, I don't know, more for like role playing, you know? But I'm totally cool with just pretending that I'm controlling this big hulking guy. Totally cool with it. Will you do a multiplayer game one day so we can play with you? Yes! Actually, I do want to do that, Ace of Spades. I was thinking about what multiplayer game would be fun to do. I have heard that Destiny has like a sparrow racing only mode, which could be fun. But yes, I would like to do a multiplayer game so we can play together and has the fun. The Vena Hydrate from Discord should be used, man. I love to create custom ones at Discord. The gummy bear one was based. No such thing as too much water. Well, technically, a female Space Marine heresy. The first collab of the nation. The Wolf Emperor protects. Destiny, yes. Sister of Battle or something, right? There are games where you play Adeptus I can't ever pronounce that word. Sororitas. Battle Nuns. Have you warned your collab partner about chat's 40k lore dumping? No, but I feel like she'll be cool with it. I'll tell her. She's based. She'll be cool with it. Not Space Marines, but still sick as hell. Jackbox trivia games. I wouldn't mind Ven becoming a sister. Okay, wait. We should get out of here. I don't think this place is safe. First things first.
I need some answers. You knew more about the Thorian than you let on.
wanted to stop the tests, but they threatened me. Told me I'd be next. When the book
Sneaky
happened,
little
people sent a
Lisbeth.
message to Colonial Affairs. I tried to tell them where to find the Thorian, but the power cut before I could send the message.
Should have never trusted her because she only had half of the name. You want a girl character because you are a feminist. I want a girl character because I am a homo degen that likes to look at her butt. We are not the same. I don't want the game to be like feminized, but I feel like if it's I feel like it'd be fun to play as, like, it doesn't need to be a female space marine, but like a female character that fits within the lore. Just so it's like, I don't know, it's fun to role play like as your own identity. You know what I mean? Like, not to be like woke about it, but like it's like guys like want to play as like a hulking guy. You know, I want to play as like a super cute and stealthy and also what's the other word? Cunning and smart wolf Warhammer universe character that also is a soldier that also fights along the Space Marines, you know? I've been wanting to play some more Space Marine lately. We'll get around to it at some point. You can mod the game to change the character model. Oh, yeah. Like a female Spartan in Halo. Yeah, except they don't look like a female at all in Halo. Right? Like, they were pretty boxy. I'm roasting you in the fan art channel, Venatrix. I am sorry. Oh, that's okay. I take roasting as the highest form of flattery essence. I'm sure they have Sister of Battle models available out there. Well, that would be great. Crush your enemies and see them driven before you and hear the lamentations of their women. Okay. Where is it?
Where's the Thorian?
The Thorian is underneath Zoo's Hope, but the entrance is blocked. The colonists covered it with the freighter just before the Geth attacked.
I see.
But why are the Geth after the Thorian? What could Saren want with it?
Well, it does have unique mind control capabilities. That's what Exogeny was interested in.
Normandy to shore party, come in.
Yes?
What is it, Joker?
We're getting a lot of Geth comm chatter. Looks like they're headed your way.
Nice job.
Thanks for the heads up, Joker. You heard the man. Let's move out.
I'm coming with you. I might be able to help. Undo the mess I helped create.
Heavy armor does make a woman look boxy. It's true. Sisters of Battle are super cool, but not very effective beyond support roles, while Sisters of Silence are actually badass. Wait, what are Sisters of Silence again? I have heard this before. Sisters of Silence are fucking terrifying. I hope not. I love poking fun at stream moments. Yeah, I will love whatever you put in fan art, I'm sure. I like being made fun of. It's funny. Do you go to church? I have actually like moved around a lot recently, so I will be going to church soon. I have a local church in mind. So yeah. Blanks, they're like anti-warp beings. Okay. That's cool. Unless you have the bikini armor, i.e. Viva la Dirt. They are sister and know when to talk. Psychically blanks pariah gen. Oh, that's cool. Some people get psychic powers in 40k. Some people in 40k get unpsychic powers. Weird. Like anti-warp beings. That sounds interesting. I only follow the lore part-time or entertainment, so I don't have much saved to memory. Am I going the right way? Yeah. We're going the right way. There's our little drop down. Although, wait, I think we just have to run this way. Loreism is at large here. Like the opposite of psychic, they make others around them deeply uncomfortable and are natural counters of psychers. Oh, that's super cool. The Warhammer universe is so interesting. Okay, everybody. Put on your seat buckles. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Where am I going? What am I doing? No, stop telling me that. Stop. You need more information before returning to Zeus Hope. Talk with Lisbeth Bainham's mother, Juliana, at the refugee camp to find out what they know about the Thorian. Okay. What is this on my map? What is this? What is this? What is this? Is this right, though? Is this right? Where's Virtual? I'm driving on the bridge again, looking at the map. Bye. Get deleted. Oh, sorry, I missed you. My bad. Wait a second. Wait a second. Hold on. What the heck? Oh, guys. That's not great for me. It's fine, though. I just got a notification. Oopsies! It stopped recording my stream. It didn't stop streaming my stream, but it stopped recording my stream because I have not been managing my space. Frick. That's okay. I can download the link. It'll be fine. Okay. Anywho. Oh, she's trying to drive again. Yeah, I am. Trying to. Virtual with the perennially relevant map meme, LMAO. What is your Christian denomination? I would consider myself non-denominational, I think, is the correct way to put it. If there are enemies appearing where you're headed, your prob's going the right way. That is a great tip. I used to like playing the Plague Marines on the tabletop game, and then family things happened and I haven't been able to play 40k for 9 years. Lots of bad memories. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Family things going awry are not good. The sad thing is there are so many female warriors in 40k they could work with. Instead, they just focus on the poster boy of 40k rather than the interesting female faction. I need to be able to, like, slide. What's it called? When you go around the map corners on Mario Kart?
That's my mom. Stop, they're over.
That's my mom. You're not my dad. Wait, stop. Why am I doing this? Why am I ruining everything? Okay. Fuck. Where did she go? Oh no, did I just cancel that cutscene by accident? Frick. I accidentally zoomed in. Where are you? Drift. Yeah, I wasn't thinking slide. Drift. No. Talk with Elizabeth at the refugee camp. Okay, but she said that's my mom. Where is she?
I'm on my way.
Okay. We're lurking. We're lurking.
Everyone shut up. Let me think.
What's going on?
You won't get away with this.
Get her out of here!
Get away from her, you son of a bitch!
Lisbeth!
Damn it! Come out where I can see you! All of you!
Hi, we're just lurking. It's okay.
Hold it right there, Commander. This is an exogeny project. I'm taking control.
Venatrix is better than Cinder. Cinder is all looks and no heart or brain. Venatrix has looks, heart, and brain. Oh, that's a nice compliment. I actually never really watched Cinder very much. I liked her design a lot. I thought it was clever. But I haven't really followed her. How is she doing these days? Does she just play video games? I think I briefly, like, maybe watched a few streams for an example when I first was going to VTube. The speech volume in game is hella quiet. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let's see if we can raise that up. I raised it up on the OBS, but let's see if I can raise it up in the game too. Stay calm.
We can talk this out. Nobody needs to get hurt.
You don't understand. It's not that easy. Communications are back up. Exogeny wants this place purged.
This is a human colony, Jong. You can't just repurpose us.
It's not just you. There's something here far more valuable than a few colonists.
Species 37.
You're after the one unique thing Pharos has. The Thorian.
The what?
It's a telepathic life form living under Zoo's hope. It's taking control of the colonists there. Exogeny knew all along.
You won't get away with this, Jong.
Jong.
So you keep saying, but nobody's gonna miss a few colonists.
She says his name so aggressively. Still on the quiet side, but I can hear it. I'm gonna, when I get out of the cutscene, I can raise the voice volume up within the game itself. She is miserable with her feud with Shy Lily. Wait, what was Cinder's feud with Shy Lily? I maybe vaguely heard about that, but not about what it was about. So you keep saying nobody's going to miss a few colonists. I can't let you do
You've
this.
gone way too far.
This ends now.
If that's the way it has to be, heck, come on!
Oh, bye-bye.
As if we don't have enough problems. Now we're shooting each other in the back.
It's my fault. I knew what was going on and I didn't do anything.
Don't you start. You do good work, and you know it. So what now, Commander?
Never fear. Venatrix Shepherd is here.
I'll deal with the Thorian, then make sure you're safe.
The colonists won't let you near the Thorian. They die first. They're under its control.
I'm listening to you more than the game. I already know it by heart. Aw, thanks, Joshua. How do I read your name? Joshua Saint Mand OS3IY. What was her feud with Shy Lily? Want a 200-page doc about it? LMAO. Back when Cinder stopped streaming due to the group drama. Minor spelling mistake. Wait, what? Shy Lily was part of that group. Cinema, rip that guy. Old news. Old news now. Never heard of it. I'm sorry.
What else am I supposed to do?
There's gotta be another way.
I think there is. You could safely use a nerve agent to neutralize the colonists.
Okay.
Like a gas grenade.
Won't I get caught in it too?
Releasing clouds of nerve gas doesn't seem like a particularly good idea.
It's not like it's weapons grade. The insecticide we use in the grow labs contains trace amounts of tetraclopine.
Isn't that a little bit ethically questionable?
If the nervous systems are already weakened, it may act as a paralyzing agent.
A reduced capacity concussion grenade might suit our needs.
Hold on. Hold on. Let's make sure we're making a good decision here. You either do that or kill them. Okay, fair. What's a little pesticide, right? Into them. Ethics in space? Cats or dogs? Yes, do it. Okay, fine. We're doing it because they can't do what's best for themselves. Okay, fine, I'll do it.
Sounds good. I'll do what I can.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Commander.
Equip your grenades with the anti-thorium gas upgrade. This will disable infected colonists without killing them. Okay, hang on.
We'll stay out of your way and
Hold up. Wait a minute. They're innocent and we're mind control. Yeah, I got it. Choose to kill the buggos or spare them. What the heck? My screen is frozen. Why? Hold on a second. Something is going on weird. I think my controller... Something's being weird. It said my USB device wasn't recognized. I think it was my controller. Okay, let's see. Will that work? Uh-oh. My game is frozen. I just noticed your stream title is Will I Get Lost Again? Yeah, it is. Guys! This is not good. Something weird is going on with my game. I'm stuck on this screen. Fuck. What the heck? What the heck? Let's give it a second, and if it doesn't work, then I don't know. We'll have to figure it out, but I can't even save the game right now. Why are you being, like, so rude? I do feel like it's the controller, though. Whoops. That's my headset. I might just need a new controller. A very, very short explanation. Cinder accused of sabotaging her friends. A fuck ton of victim-style blame shifting happened to excuse the actions of many people. Cinder gets attacked like a MFer and attacked as a sociopath. Cinder returns and drops a 200-page doc filled with receipts and shuts everyone up. Oh. Weird. Please work. The scub never dies for real, for real. This is... Fuck. Old news from years back. Okay. The scuff haunts me. Basically, my game is stuck here, and I can't save it, and I can't use my mouse and keyboard, and I can't use my controller. What the heck? How could that even be? That's so weird. This is not working. I hope I don't need to go back. That would not be a very good situation. Hang on a second. Let's see. Gah. Did the screen just glitch for you guys, or has it just been stuck on this? Did it stay the same? Mass Effect game borked? What's a Venatrix stream without some scuff? Fuck. I was pressing buttons on my controller and it was like opening all of my tabs at once. I don't know why it was doing that. At least the file save file isn't corrupting your entire hard drive. Yeah, at least. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna look this up really fast so I don't do something I regret. What's a good stream without scuff, you know? I'm asking Grokky Boy what to do. Fairly common input UI freeze in Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Alt-tab out and back in. Alt-tab? That doesn't seem like it's working, though. That's not working. Unplug your controller or turn it off completely. I already did that. task manager, unplug your controller, task manager, close the game, restart the game, load your most recent save, hopefully before the loot screen. Yeah, hopefully. Enter, spam, escape, or enter a bunch. Okay, thanks, Grok. Fuck. If on Steam, right click the game properties controller, disable Steam input. Let's try that. What the heck? How strange. Controller. Disable Steam input. Is that gonna fix it? Yes? No? Maybe so? No! Fuck. Okay, I think I'm gonna close the game and hope that we didn't lose that much. Hopefully, are you in Windows mode or full screen mode? It's a windowed mode. Okay, I'm closing the window. Or maybe not. I'm not allowed to close the window. I'm going to switch back to the other screen for now. Sorry, guys. I was not expecting that to happen. Things were actually going pretty smooth up until then. We'll figure it out. That's so weird. If you didn't save, it'll go back to your last save. Well, I can't get out of the game, so I might just be stuck on that, unfortunately. End task. It's being so weird. Apparently this is a Mass Effect UI problem. Gah. The game is closed, but I still hear the music. It's being so strange. Okay, let's try to reopen it. Do you guys still hear the game? What the heck? Okay, stop running. We're stopping it. We might totally have lurced it. We might have lurced it, guys. Okay, let's see. Switch. Pretty sure the game crashed. Yeah, it did. I closed it because it got stuck. My brother's corrupted Mass Effect save file spread its disease through my entire PS3 database. Had to reformat. Okay, let's try that again and see if we can get it back up. Hopefully it didn't save too far back. Hopefully. We'll see what it does. Lost all progress in every game. That sounds horrible. We must protect Ven from the curse. Okay, let's try this again. There you are, Mass Effect, please. Oh, thank God. It loaded at the soldier refugee camp. Okay. We're cooking. We're gonna cook. We're cooking shepherd dinner right now. Okay, it'll be up in a second. It's just the black screen. That was so weird. Hopefully the controller works this time, though. My light is on. It should work. Okay. We must save the rogue wolf from being cursed. So who is everybody's Mass Effect waifu? Shouldn't this... Okay. Oh, that looks weird. Why is it stretched like that? The heck? Oh, because I'm not in the windowed mode yet. Okay, okay, okay. We got it. We got it. No! Okay. It was just a glitch. Resuming normal programming, everyone. I'm already prompting the scuff. Don't mind me. Shep's pie maxing. Actually, I love shepherd's pie. Tally is my fave. Tally for me. Liara Tassoni. Liara Tassoni. Okay. This is being really fucking weird. I think something is wrong. Because I'm loading into the game and then it's like going back to the loading screen over and over again. What the heck? Tough call between Liara and Tally. TBH. Okay, I actually think something is wrong with my computer. Frick. Okay, that's super weird. I think I know what it is. I think I need to clear out my disk space or something. Okie dokie. At least it didn't cut off the stream super quick. I think I'm actually gonna stop here because I think I need to go into something on my computer and clear this out because it is not. It's just crashing over and over again, and I think I need to clear something out and update something. So sorry, but we'll play again. I'm gonna put out a stream announcement for Saturday. For the collab and for some Space Marines, so I'll be super fun. But yeah, thank you for joining me for stream today. It was fun talking about all the horrible things going on in our world and also laughing and having the lulz. But seriously, thank you for chatting, and if you're new, I'm glad you joined us today. Make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification button on your preferred platform so you don't miss whenever I'm streaming. And I'll be streaming Wednesdays and Saturdays at 2 p.m. PST for the next couple of weeks. Okay, have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.
Every breath feels heavy when the truth is treated like a crime. Living honest in a world that forces you to toe the line. They twist the words, they sell the fear. They keep the masses blind. But deep inside the fire's growing, and it's burning through my mind. To rebellion, and the rebellion calls my name. Sick of the poison, sick of the chains they wrap around our souls. We carry this weight too